Video when you're off stage, start video when you're on stage. I will read the character name. If you could then state your name, and then we will read the play. Tonight we are reading A Month in the Country by Ivan Turgenev. Oh, it is a comedy in 5 acts. Look at that. Natalya, tonight playing Natalya Petrovna.
Shelia Spencer.
Playing Mikhail Aleksandrovich Rakitin.
Larry Gutman.
Playing Aleksei Nikolayevich Belyaev. Playing Arkadi Sergeyevich Islayev. Islayev.
Bernie Bosio.
Yeah. Playing
Him
Vera.
too.
Playing Vera Aleksandrovna or Verochka.
Sylvie Hartley.
Playing Anna Semyonovna.
Yes, Swachata Guha Malik.
Playing Lizaveta, Bogdanovna, Kolya, and Matvei.
Anne-Marie Ross.
Playing Adam Ivanovich, Schaaf, and Afanasy Ivanovich, Bolshintsov.
Ivan Ackerman.
Playing Ignatiy Ilyich Shipjelski.
David Mackler.
And playing Katya.
Heather Riolanti.
Act 1, a drawing room. On right, a card table and a door to the study. In center, a door to an outer room. On left, 2 windows and a round table. Sofas in the corners. At the card table, Anna, Lizaveta, and Schaaf are playing preference. Natalya and Rakitin are sitting at the round table. She is embroidering on canvas. He has a book in his hand. A clock on the wall points to 3 o'clock.
Hearts.
Again? Why, if you go on like that, my good man, you will beat us every time.
8 hearts.
Ah, what a man. There's no playing with him.
Why have you left off? Go on.
Monte Cristo se redressa all'étang. Does it interest you, Natalya Petrovna?
Not at all.
Why are we reading it then?
Well, it's like this. The other day, a woman said to me, "You haven't read Monte Cristo? Oh, you must read it. It's charming." I made her no answer at the time, but now I can say that I've been reading it and found nothing at all charming in it.
Oh, well, since you have already made up your mind about it.
Oh, you lazy creature.
Oh, I don't mind. Se redressa all'étang.
Have you seen Arkady today?
I met him on the dam. It is being repaired. He was explaining something to the workmen, and to make things clearer, waded up to his knees in the sand.
He gets too hot over things. He tries to do too much. It's a failing. Don't you think so?
Yes, I agree with you.
How dull that is. You always agree with me. Go on reading.
Oh, so you want me to quarrel with you? By all means.
I want you to go on reading, I tell you.
I obey, madame.
Hearts.
What? Again? It's insufferable. Natasha?
What is it?
Only fancy. Schaaf wins every point. He keeps on. If it's not 7, it's 8.
And now it's 7.
Do you hear? It's awful.
Yes, it is.
Back me up then. Where's Kolya?
He's gone out for a walk with the new tutor.
Oh, Lizaveta, I call on you.
What tutor?
I forgot to tell you. While you've been away, we've engaged a new teacher.
Instead of Dufour?
No, a Russian teacher. The princess is going to send us a Frenchman from Moscow.
Ah, what sort of man is he, the Russian? An old man?
Oh, no, he's young, but we only have him for the summer.
Oh, a holiday engagement.
Yes, that's what they call it, I believe. And I tell you what, Rakitin, you're fond of studying people, analyzing them, burrowing into them.
Oh, come. What makes you say?
Yes, you study them. I like him. Thin, well-made, merry eyes, something spirited in his face. You'll see. It's true he is rather awkward, and you think that's dreadful.
You are terribly hard on me today, Natalya Petrovna.
Oh, joking apart, do study him. I fancy he may make a very fine man, but then you never can tell.
That sounds interesting.
Really? Go on reading.
Redressa alitante.
Where's Vera? I haven't seen her all day. Put away that book. I see we shan't get any reading done today. Better tell me something.
By all means. What am I to tell you? Oh, I stayed a few days at the Krenitsins. Imagine that. The happy pair are bored already.
How could you tell?
Well, boredom can't be concealed. Anything else may be, but not boredom.
Anything else can then?
I think so.
Well, what did you do with the Krenitskins?
Nothing. Being bored with friends is an awful thing. You are at ease. You are not constrained. You like them. There's nothing to irritate you. And yet you are bored. And there's a silly ache like hunger in your heart.
You must often have been bored with friends.
As though you don't know what it is to be with a person whom one loves and who bores one.
Whom one loves. That's saying a great deal. You are too subtle today.
Subtle? Why subtle?
Yes, that's a weakness of yours. Do you know, Rakitin, you are very clever, of course, but sometimes we talk as though we were making lace. Have you ever seen people make lace in stuffy rooms, never moving from their seats? Lace is a fine thing, but a drink of fresh water on a hot day is much better.
Natalya Petrovna, you are...
What?
You are cross with me about something.
Oh, you clever people, how blind you are, though you are so subtle. No, I am not cross with you.
At last. He has lost the trick. Natasha, our enemy has lost the trick.
It's Lizaveta Bogdanovia's fault.
I beg your pardon. How could I tell Anna Semyonovna I had no heart?
In future, I call not on Lizaveta Bogdanovna.
Why? How is she? Lizaveta to blame?
In future, I call not on Lizaveta Bogdanova.
As though I care. What next?
You look somehow different. I see that more and more.
Yes,
Yes, really, I find a change in you.
yes. Well, if that's so, please, you know me so well. Guess what the change is. What has happened to me? Will you?
Well, give me time.
Suddenly, Kolya runs noisily from the outer room and straight up to Anna.
Granny, do look what I've got. Look.
Tell me, darling. Oh, what a splendid bow. Who made it for you?
Did. He.
Oh, but how well it's made.
I shot a tree with it, Granny, and hit it twice.
Show me, Kolya.
Oh, Mama, you should see how Aleksei Nikolayevich climbs trees. He wants to teach me, and he's going to teach me how to swim, too. He's going to teach me all kinds of things.
It's very good of you to do so much for Kolya.
I do like him, Mama. I love him.
He has been too softly brought up. Make him a sturdy, active boy.
Alexei Mikhailovich, let's go to the stable and take favorites some bread.
Very well.
Come here and give me a kiss first.
Mwah. Afterwards, Granny, afterwards.
Oh, what a darling boy, isn't he?
To be sure he is.
Us.
Well, how does he strike you?
Oh,
That Russian tutor.
oh, I beg your pardon. I'd forgotten him. I was so absorbed by you asked me. But his face, certainly, yes, he has a good face. I like him. Only he seems very shy.
Yes.
But anyway, I can't quite make out.
How if we were to look after him a bit, Rakitin? Will you? Let's finish his education. Here is a splendid opportunity for discreet, sensible people like you and me. We are very sensible, aren't we?
This young man interests you. If he knew it, he'd be flattered.
Oh, not a bit, believe me. You can't judge him by what anyone like us would feel in his place. You see, he's not at all like us, Rakitin. That's where we go wrong, my dear. We study ourselves very carefully and then imagine we understand human nature.
The heart of another is a dark forest. But what am I thinking at? Why do you keep on sticking pins into me?
Whom is one to stick pins into, if not one's friends? And you are my friend, you know that. You are my old friend.
I'm only afraid you may get sick of the old friend.
It's only very nice things one takes enough of for that.
Perhaps, but that doesn't make it any better for them.
Nonsense. As though you don't know. C'est que vous êtes pour moi.
Natalya Petrovna, you play with me like a cat with a mouse. But the mouse does not complain.
Oh, poor little mouse.
That's 20 from you, Adam Ivanovich.
In future, I call not on Lizaveta Bogdanovna.
Ignatiy Ilyich.
Doctors don't need showing in. My humblest respects to all the family. How do you do, gracious lady? Winning, I expect?
Winning indeed. I have hardly got my own bag, and I am thankful for that. It's all this villain.
Adam Ivanovich, when you're playing with ladies, it's too bad. I should never have thought it of you.
The ladies.
Good afternoon, Natalya Petrovna. Good afternoon, Mikhail Aleksandrovich.
Good afternoon, Doctor. How are you?
I like that inquiry. It shows that you are quite well. What can ail me? A respectable doctor is never ill. At the most, he just goes and dies.
Oh, sit down. I'm quite well, certainly, but I'm in a bad humor, and that's a sort of illness too, you know.
Let me feel your pulse. Oh, nerves, nerves. You don't walk enough, Natalya Petrovna. You don't laugh enough. That's what it is. Why don't you see to it, Mikhail Alexandrovich? But of course, I can prescribe some drops.
I'm ready enough to laugh. Now, Doctor, you have a spiteful tongue. I like it so much in you. I respect you for it, really. Do tell me something amusing. Mikhail Alexandrovich is so solemn today.
It seems it's not only the nerves that are upset. There's just a touch of spleen, too.
There you are at it, too. Be as critical as you like, Doctor, but not allowed. We all know how sharp-sighted you are. You are both so sharp-sighted.
I obey, madame.
Tell us something funny.
I obey, madame. Tell us a story straight away. It's a bit sudden. Allow me a pinch of snuff.
What preparations?
Well, you see, my dear lady, you must graciously consider there are all sorts of funny stories. One for one person, one for another. Your neighbor, Mr. Lopushkin, for instance, roars and laughs till he cries if I simply hold up my finger, while you... But there, here goes. You know Veronitsin?
I fancy I've met him. I've heard of him anyway.
He has a sister who's mad. To my thinking, they are either both mad or both sane, for really there's nothing to choose between them, but that's neither here nor there. It's the finger of destiny, dear lady, everywhere and in everything. Veronitsin has a daughter, a greenish little thing, you know, with little pale eyes and a little red nose, little yellow teeth. A charming girl, in fact, plays the piano, talks with a lisp, so everything's as it should be. She has 200 serfs of her own, besides her aunt's 150. The aunt's still alive, to be sure, and will go on living for years. Mad people always live to be old, but one need never despair. She made a will in her niece's favor anyway, and the day before she did it, with my own hand, I poured cold water on her head. It was a complete waste of time, for there's no chance of curing her. Well, so, Veronitsin's daughter is a bit of a catch, you see. He has begun bringing her out. Suitors are turning up. Among others, Perekuzov, an anemic young man, timid but of excellent principles. Well, the father liked our Perekuzov, and the daughter liked him too. There seemed to be no hitch, simply bless them and haste to the wedding. As a matter of fact, all was going swimmingly. Mr. Veronitsin was already beginning to poke the young man in the ribs and slap him on the back, when all of a sudden a bolt from the blue, an officer, Adrelian Protobekasov. He saw Veronitsin's daughter at the marshal's ball, danced 3 polkas with her, said to her, I suppose rolling his eyes like this, "Oh, how unhappy I am." And our young lady was bowled over at once. Tears, signs, moans, not a look, not a word from Perekuzov. Hysterics at the mere mention of the wedding. Oh, Lord, there was a deuce of a fuss. Oh, well, thinks Veronitsin, if Protobekasov it is to be, Protobekasov let it be. Lucky he was a man of property, too. Protobekasov is invited to give them the honor of his company. He does them the honor, arrives, flirts, falls in love, and finally offers his hand and heart. Veronitsin's daughter accepts him joyfully on the spot, you'd suppose. Not a bit of it. Mercy on us, no. Tears again, sighs, hysterics. Her father is at his wit's end. What is the meaning of it? What does she want? And what do you suppose she answers? I don't know, she says. Which of them I love? What? I really don't know which I love, so I better not marry either. But I am in love. Veronitsin, of course, had an attack of cholera at once. The suitors can't make head or tail of it either, but she sticks to it. So you see what queer things happen in these parts.
I don't see anything wonderful in that. Surely it's possible to love 2 people at once.
Ah, you think so?
I think so. I don't know, though. Perhaps it only shows one doesn't love either.
Oh, that's how it is.
Your story is very good, but you haven't made me laugh.
Oh, my dear lady, who'll make you laugh just now? That's not what you want to be at the moment.
Well, what is it I want, then?
The Lord only knows.
Oh, how tiresome you are, as bad as Rakitin.
Ah, you do me too much honor, upon my word.
Well, at last, My legs are quite stiff from sitting so long. Ugh.
Why do you sit so long?
You owe me 70 kopecks, my good sir. You can't punish us all the time. You look pale, Natasha. Are you quite well? Spiegelsky, is she quite well?
Oh, perfectly.
That's right. I'll go and have a little rest before dinner. I'm dreadfully tired. Lisa, come along. Oh, my legs. My legs.
She goes into the other room with Lizaveta, Bogdanova. Natalya Petrovna walks with her to the door. Shipichelski, Rakitin, and Schaaf are left in the front of the stage.
Well, Adam Ivanovich, wie befunden Sie sich?
Quite well, and you?
Thank you kindly. Pretty middling. So, you don't know what's the matter with Natalya Petrovna today?
Don't really.
Well, if you don't,
He goes to meet Natalia, who is coming back from the door.
I have a little matter to talk to you about, Natalya Petrovna.
Really? What is it?
I must speak to you alone.
Oh dear. You alarm me.
Rakitin, meanwhile, takes Schaaf's arm and walks to and fro with him, murmuring something to him in German. Schaaf laughs and says in an undertone, ja, ja, ja.
Ja, jawohl, Schickl.
This business, strictly speaking, does not concern you only.
What do you mean?
Well, it's like this. A good friend of mine has asked me to find out, that is, your intentions in regard to your ward, Vera Aleksandrovna.
My intentions?
Oh, that is, to speak plainly, my friend.
You don't mean to say he wants to marry her?
Just so.
Are you joking?
Certainly not.
Good gracious, she's a child. What a strange commission.
Strange, Natalya Petrovna? How so? My friend.
You are a great schemer, Shapelsky. And who is your friend?
1 minute. You haven't said anything definite in your reply.
Nonsense, Doctor. Vera is a child. You know that yourself. Monsieur le diplomate, why, here she is.
Vera and Kolya run in from the outer room.
Rakitin, some glue. Tell them to give us some glue.
Oh, where have you been? Oh, how flushed you are.
In the garden. Good afternoon, Ignatiy Ilyich.
What do you want with glue?
We must have it. Aleksei Nikolayevich is making us a kite. Ask for it.
Oh, very well. In a minute.
We've been saying, Master Kolya has not learned his lesson today. Come and see.
Morgen, Schaaf, morgen.
Morgen, nur nicht heute, sagen all fall late. Come and see.
Who have you been out with all this time? I've seen nothing of you all day.
With Aleksei Nikolayevich. With Kolya.
Ah. Kolya, what's the meaning of this?
Mr. Schaaf? Mama?
Oh, they are making a kite, and you see, it's time for a lesson.
This Frau.
You have been playing about enough today, do you hear? Go along with Mr. Schaaf.
Es ist unheut.
Ask for the glue, all the same.
Come and see, mein Herr.
Sit down, you must be tired.
Not at all. Natalya Petrovna.
Shekelsky, look at her. She is tired, isn't she?
But that's good for Vera Alexandrovna, you know.
I don't say it's not. Well, what have you been doing in the garden?
Playing, running about. First, we looked at the man digging the dam. Then Aleksei Nikolayevich climbed up a tree after a squirrel, ever so high, and began shaking the treetop. It really frightens us. The squirrel dropped at last, and Treasure nearly caught it, but it got away.
And then?
Then Aleksei Nikolayevich made Kolya a bow, and so quickly. And then he stole up to our cow in the meadow, and all at once leapt on her back. And the cow was scared and set off running and kicking, and he laughed. And then Aleksei Nikolayevich wanted to make us a kite, and so we came in.
Child, you are a perfect child. What do you think, Shpakelsky?
I agree with you.
I should think so.
But that's no hindrance. On the contrary.
You think so? And you have been enjoying yourself?
Yes, Aleksei Nikolayevich is so amusing.
Oh, is he? And Vera, how old are you? You're a child. A child.
I was forgetting. Your coachman is ill, and I haven't had a look at him yet.
What's the matter with him?
He's feverish, but it's nothing serious.
You are dining with us, Doctor.
With your kind permission.
Oh, enfin, vous ferez bien de mettre une autre robe pour le dîner.
Vera gets up,
Come to me.
kisses her on the forehead.
Child.
Vera kisses her hand and goes towards the door.
I've sent Aleksei Nikolayevich all you need.
Thank you, Mikhail Aleksandrovich.
At last we are alone, Natalya Petrovna. Tell me, what's the matter?
Oh, nothing, Michel, nothing. And if there were, it's all over now. Sit down. That happens to everybody. Clouds pass over the sky. Why do you look at me like that?
I'm looking at you. I am happy.
Open the window, Michel. How lovely it is in the garden. How I welcome the wind. It seems to have been waiting for a chance to burst in. How completely it's taken possession of the room. There's no turning it out now.
You are as soft and sweet yourself now as an evening after a storm.
After a storm? But has there been a storm?
It was a gathering.
Really? Do you know, Michel, I can't imagine a kinder man than you. No, don't prevent my speaking out. You are sympathetic, affectionate, constant. You never change. I owe you so much.
Natalya Petrovna, why are you telling me this just now?
I don't know. I feel light-hearted. I'm at rest. Don't stop me from chattering.
You're kind as an angel.
Oh, you wouldn't have said so this morning. But listen, Michel, you know me. You must make allowances for me. Our relations are so pure, so genuine, and at the same time not quite natural. You and I have the right to look everybody in the face, not only Arkady, yes, but that's what makes me sometimes depressed and ill at ease. I feel spiteful like a child. I'm ready to vent my spite on others, especially on you. You don't resent that privilege?
Quite the contrary.
Yes, at times it gives one pleasure to torture the man whom one loves. Like Tatiana, I too can say, why not be frank?
Natalya Petrovna,
Yes, I love you, but do you know, Rakitin, do you know what sometimes seems strange to me? I love you, and the feeling is so clear, so peaceful, it doesn't agitate me. I'm warmed by it. You have never made me cry, and it seems as though I ought to have. What does that show?
It's a question that needs no answer.
And we have known each other a long while.
4 years. Yes, we are old friends.
Friends. No, you are more to me than a friend.
Natalya Petrovna, don't touch on that. I'm afraid for my happiness. I'm afraid it may vanish at your touch.
No. The whole point is that you are too good. You give way to me. Too much. You spoiled me. You are too good. Do you hear?
I hear, madam.
I don't know what you feel, but I desire no other happiness. Many women might envy me, mightn't they?
I'm in your hands. Do with me what you will. Oh, so you've sent for him, have you?
Arkady, I can't see him just now. Goodbye.
What does it mean? The beginning of the end? Or the end? Or the beginning?
Enter Islayeva, looking worried.
Oh, that's me.
We'd be drinking right now.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah. I'm sorry, what page are we on?
14, middle, toward the bottom.
Yeah, you're playing Hunka Munka.
Good afternoon, Michelle.
Oh, we've seen each other already today.
Oh, I beg your pardon. I've had so much to see to. It's a queer thing. The Russian peasant is very intelligent, very quick of understanding. I have a respect for the Russian peasant. And yet, sometimes you may talk to him and explain away. And it's clear enough, you'd think, but it's no use at all. The Russian peasant hasn't that.
You're still busy with the dam, are you?
That, so to speak, love for work. That's just it. He has no love for it. He won't let you tell him what you think properly. Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. When he hasn't taken in a word. Look at a German now. It's quite a different thing. The Russian has no patience. For all that, I have a respect for him. Where's Natasha? Do you know?
She was here just now.
What time is it? Surely dinner time. I've been on my feet all day. Such a lot to do. And I haven't been to the building yet. Time goes so fast. It's dreadful. One's simply behindhand with everything. Looking at me, I tell it, old man. People are different. I'm a practical man, born to look after my land and nothing else. There was a time when I dreamed of other things, but I burnt my fingers. I can tell you came to grief, you know. Why isn't Belyaev here?
Who's Belyaev?
Our new teacher. He's a shy bird, but he'll get used to us. He has a head on his shoulders. I asked him to see how the building was going today. Oh, here he is. Well, how are they getting on? Doing nothing, I expect.
No, sir, they are working.
Have they finished the framing of the second barn?
They have begun the third.
Ah, and did you speak to them about the beams?
Yes.
And, well, what did they say?
They say that's how they always do it.
There's Yermil, the carpenter, there?
Yes.
Ah, well, thanks. Ah, Natasha. Good afternoon.
Why, 20 greetings to each of us today.
I tell you, I'm tired out with all I've seen to. Oh, by the way, I haven't shown you my new winnowing machine, have I? Do come along. It's worth seeing. It's marvelous. A whirlwind, a regular whirlwind. We've time before dinner. What do you say?
Oh, by all means.
Won't you come with us, Natasha?
As though I knew anything about your machines. You go by yourselves. And mind you're not late.
We'll be back immediately.
Where are you going, Aleksei Nikolayevich? Of course, go if you want to walk.
Well, no, I've been out of doors all the morning.
Well then, sit down. Sit here. We have not had a proper talk, Aleksei Nikolayevich. We have not made friends yet. I want to get to know you.
It's very kind of you.
You are afraid of me, I see. But wait a little. You won't be afraid of me when you know me. Tell me now, how old are you?
21.
Are your parents living?
My mother is dead. My father is living.
Has your mother been dead long?
Yes, a long time.
But you remember her.
Oh, yes, I remember her.
And does your father live in Moscow?
Oh, no, in the country.
And have you any brothers and sisters?
One sister.
Are you fond of her?
Yes. Well, she's much younger than I am.
And what's her name?
Natalya.
Natalya, how odd. I'm Natalya, too. And you're very fond of her.
Yes.
Tell me, what do you think of my Kolya?
Oh, he is a dear boy.
He is, isn't he? And so affectionate. He's devoted to you already.
I'll do my best. I'm glad.
You see, Aleksei Nikolayevich, of course, I should like to make him a thoroughly able man. I don't know whether I shall succeed in that, but anyway, I want him to look back on his childhood with pleasure. Let him grow up in freedom. That's the great thing. I was brought up very differently, Aleksei Nikolayevich. My father was not an unkind man, but he was stern and irritable. Everyone in the house, including my mother, was afraid of him. My brother and I used to cross ourselves in terror whenever we were summoned to his room. Sometimes my father would pet me, but even in his arms, I was in a panic. My brother grew up, and you may perhaps have heard of his rupture with my father. I shall never forget that awful day. I remained an obedient daughter up to my father's death. He used to call me his consolation, his Antigone. He was blind for some years before his death. But however tender he was, he could never make me forget those early impressions. I was afraid of him, a blind old man, and never felt at ease in his presence. The traces of timidity of those years of repression haven't perhaps quite disappeared even now. I know that at first sight I seem, how shall I say, frigid perhaps, but I notice I'm talking to you about myself instead of talking about Kolya. I only meant to say that I know from my own experience how good it is for a child to grow up in freedom. You now, I imagine, have never been repressed as a child, have you?
I don't know, really. Well, of course, nobody repressed me. Nobody bothered about me.
Why didn't your father?
Oh, he'd no time to spare. He was always going round among the neighbors on business. Or if not business exactly, he got his living through them in a way by his services.
Oh, so then nobody troubled about bringing you up?
Well, as a matter of fact, nobody did. I dare say that's evident, though. I'm only too aware of my defects.
Perhaps, but on the other hand... by the way, Aleksei Nikolayevich, was that you singing in the garden yesterday?
When?
In the evening, by the pond. Was it you?
Yes, I didn't think... The pond is such a long way off. I didn't think that it could be heard from there.
Are you a apologizing. You have a very pleasant musical voice, and you sing so well. You've studied music?
Well, no, not at all. They only sing by ear, only simple songs.
You sing them capitally. I'll ask you sometime, not just now, but when we know each other better, when we're friends. We are going to be friends, Alexei Nikolayevich, aren't we? I feel confidence in you. The way I've been chattering is a proof of it.
She holds out her hand for him to shake hands. Belyaev takes it irresolutely, and after some hesitation, not knowing what to do with the hand, kisses it. Natalya flushes and draws away her hand. At that moment, Shipchelsky comes in from the outer room, stops short, and takes a step forward.
Oh, it's you, Doctor. Here, Alexei Nikolayevich and I have been having...
Oh, really, Natalya Petrovna, the goings-on in your house. I walk into the servants' hall and ask for the sick coachman, and my patient is sitting at the table gobbling up pancake and onion. Much good it is being a doctor and relying on illness for getting a living.
Really? Alexei Nikolayevich, I forgot to tell you.
Alexei Nikolayevich! Alexei Nikolayevich!
Oh, what is it? What do you want?
He is wanted.
By whom?
Kolya. That is Kolya asked me about the kite.
Oh. On n'est pas comme cela dans une chambre. Ce ne convient pas. What time is it, Doctor? Your watch is always right. It's time for dinner.
Allow me. It is just, I beg to inform you, just exactly 20 minutes past 4.
There, you see, it's dinner time.
She goes to the looking glass and tidies up her hair. Meanwhile, Vera whispers something to Belyaev. Both laugh. Natalya sees them reflected in the looking glass. Shipchelsky gives her a sidelong look.
Really?
Yes. She just went flop.
What? Who went flop?
Oh no! Alexei Nikolayevich made us a swing, and so nurse took it into her head.
Oh, by the way, Shpigelsky, come here. She wasn't hurt, I hope.
Oh no.
But all the same, Alexei Nikolayevich, you shouldn't have done it.
Dinner is served.
Ah, but where's Arkadi Sergeyevich? They'll be late again. He and Mikhail Aleksandrovich.
The gentlemen are in the dining room.
And Mother?
Madame is in the dining room too.
Well, then come along. Vera, allons avec monsieur.
Matvei goes out, followed by Vera, and Belyaev Shipchelsky says to Natalya,
You had something to say to me.
Oh, yes, to be sure. You see, we'll have another talk about your proposal.
Concerning Vera Aleksandrovna?
Yes, I will think about it. I'll think about it.
They both go out. Act 2, the garden. Seats to right and left under trees, in the foreground, raspberry bushes. Katya and Matvei come on right. Katya has a basket in her hand.
So how is it to be, Katerina Vasilyevna? Kindly explain yourself. I beg you earnestly.
Matvei Yegorovich, I really can't.
You are very well aware, Katerina Vasilyevna, what my feelings, I may say, are for you. To be sure, I'm older than you in years. There's no denying that, certainly. But I can still hold my own. I'm still in my prime. I'm of mild disposition, as you are aware. I should like to know what more you want.
Matvei Yegorovich, believe me, I feel it very much. I'm very grateful, Matvei Yegorovich. But you see, better wait a bit, I think.
But dear me, what is there to wait for, Katerina Vasilyevna? You used to say that. Allow me to tell you. And as for consideration, I can answer for that. I believe I may say You couldn't ask for more consideration than you'll get from me. Katerina Vasilyevna, and I'm not given to drink, and I never hear a word of blame for my master or mistress either.
Really, Matvei Yegorovich, I don't know what to say.
Katerina Vasilyevna, something's come over you lately.
Lately? Why lately?
Oh no, but there was a time when you didn't treat me like this.
Mind, the German's coming.
Bother him, that long-nosed crane. I must talk to you again.
He goes outright. Katya is moving towards the raspberries. Enters Schaaf from the left with a fishing rod on his shoulders.
There you go. There you go, Catherine.
We've been told to pick raspberries, Adam Ivanovich.
Raspberries. The raspberry is a pleasant fruit. You love raspberries?
Yes, I like them.
And I do too. I love all that you love. Oh, Catherine, wait a little.
I have no time to spare. The housekeeper will scold me.
Oh, that's nothing. You see, I'm going, how do you say, to fish. You understand? To fish. That is, to catch fish. You love fish?
Yes.
I do too. I do too. Do you know what I will tell you, Catherine? There's a song in German. Katerichen, wie lieb dich so sehr. That is in Russian. Oh, Katrimushka, you're so pretty. I love you.
Give over. Give over for shame. Here's the mistress coming.
She escapes into the raspberry patch.
That is dumb.
Adam Ivanovich, are you going fishing?
Yes, madam.
Where's Kolya?
With Lizaveta Bogdanovna, the music lesson.
Ah, you are alone here.
Yes.
And you haven't seen Aleksei Nikolayevich then?
No, madam.
We'll go with you, Adam Ivanovich, shall we? We'll look on while you fish.
I'm very glad.
What possesses you?
Come along, come along. Botanibro.
All three go outright.
They've gone, that German. No fire is burning, no embers glowing, but the wild heart is glowing, is burning. Yes, Matvei Yegorovich is right. But the wild heart is glowing, is burning, not for father dear, not for mother dear. What big raspberries! Not for father dear, not for mother dear. How hot it is, stifling. Not for father dear, not for mother dear. It glows and it burns for...
Suddenly turns around and is quiet and half hides behind the bushes. From left, Belyaev and Vera come in. Belyaev has a kite in his hand.
Why have you stopped, Katya? It glows and it burns for a maiden so fair.
That's not how we sing it.
Oh, how then? What are you doing? Picking raspberries? Let us taste them.
Take them all.
Why all? Vera Aleksandrovna, won't you have some? Oh, that's enough.
Take them all.
Oh, thanks, Katya. Thank you. Vera Aleksandrovna, let us all sit down on this seat. You see, we must fasten the tail on. You'll help me? That's it. Mind now. Hold it straight. What's the matter?
I can't see you.
Well, why must you see me?
I mean, I want to see how you fix the tail on.
Oh, wait a minute. Katya, why aren't you singing? Sing.
Tell me, Aleksei Nikolayevich, do you sometimes fly kites in Moscow too?
I have no time for kites in Moscow. Hold the string, that's right. Do you suppose we've nothing else to do in Moscow?
What do you do in Moscow?
What do we do? Well, we study, listen to the professors.
What do they teach you?
Everything.
I expect you're a very good student. Better than all the rest.
No, I'm not very good. Better than all the rest, indeed. I'm lazy.
Why are you lazy?
Oh, goodness knows. I was born so, apparently.
Have you any friends in Moscow?
Of course. Oh, I say, this string isn't strong enough.
And are you fond of them?
Oh, I should think so. Aren't you fond of your friends?
I haven't any.
I meant the girls you know.
Yes.
I suppose you have some girlfriends.
Yes. Only, I don't know why. For some time past, I have not thought much about them. I haven't even answered Liza Moshinin. She begged me to in her letter.
Oh, how can you say you have no friends? What am I?
Oh, you. That's a different thing. Aleksei Nikolayevich,
Well,
do you write poetry?
oh, why?
Oh, nothing. A girl in our school used to write poetry.
Did she? Was it good?
I don't know. She used to read it to us, and we cried.
What did you cry for?
Pity. We were all so sorry for her.
Were you educated in Moscow?
Yes, at Madame Bolusiu's school in Moscow. Natalya Petrovna took me away last year.
Are you fond of Natalya Petrovna?
Yes, she's so kind. I am very fond of her.
And you're afraid of her, I bet.
A little.
And who sent you to school?
Natalya Petrovna's mother. I grew up in her house. I'm an orphan.
You're an orphan. And you don't remember your father or your mother?
No.
And my mother is dead too. We are both motherless. Well, we must put up with it. We mustn't be downhearted for all that.
They say orphans quickly make friends with one another.
Do they? And do you think so?
I think they do.
Oh, I should like to know how long I've been in these parts.
This is the 28th day.
Wow, what a memory you have. Ah, well, here, the kite is finished. Look, what a tale. We must go and fetch Kolya.
Won't you have some more raspberries?
Oh, no, thanks, Katya.
Kolya's with Lizaveta Bogdanovna.
Oh, how absurd to keep a child indoors in this weather.
Lizaveta Bogdanovna would only be in our way.
But I'm not talking about her.
Kolya couldn't come with us without her. She was praising you ever so yesterday, though.
Really?
Don't you like her?
Oh, I don't mind her. Let her enjoy her snuff, bless the woman. Why do you sigh?
I don't know. How clear the sky is.
Does that make you sigh? Perhaps you are depressed?
Depressed? No. I never know myself why I sigh. I'm not depressed at all. On the contrary. I don't know. I think I can't be quite well. Yesterday, I went upstairs to fetch a book, and all at once, fancy on the staircase, I sat down and began to cry. Goodness knows why, and my tears kept on coming into my eyes for a long while afterwards. What's the meaning of it? And yet, I am quite happy.
It's because you are growing. It's growing up. It does happen so. Of course, I noticed your eyes looked swollen yesterday evening.
You noticed it?
Yes.
You notice everything.
Oh, no. Not everything.
Aleksei Nikolayevich.
What is it?
What was it I was going to ask you? I've forgotten what I was going to say.
Oh, you are absent-minded.
No, but, oh yes. This is what I meant to ask. I think you told me you have a sister.
Yes.
Tell me, am I like her?
Oh, no. You're much better looking.
How can that be? Your sister. I should like to be in her place.
What? You'd like to be in our poor little house at this moment?
I didn't mean that. Is your home too small?
Tiny. Very different from this house.
Well, what's the use of so many rooms?
What's the use? Well, you'll find out one day how useful rooms are.
One day. When?
When you're the mistress of a house yourself.
Do you think so?
Yes. You will see. Hadn't we better go and fetch Kolya? Vera Aleksandrovna?
Why don't you call me Verochka?
Oh, you can't call me Aleksei, can you?
Why not? Oh,
What's the matter?
there's Natalya Petrovna coming this way.
Where?
Over there, along the path, with Mikhail Aleksandrovich.
Let's go to Kolya. He must have finished his lessons by now.
Let's go. Or I'm afraid she'll scold me.
They get up and walk away quickly to the left. Katya hides again in the raspberry bushes. Natalya and Rakitin come in on the right.
I believe that's Mr. Belyaev with Vera.
Yes, it is.
It looks as though they are running away from us.
Perhaps they are.
But I don't think Verochka ought to be alone like this with a young man in the garden. Of course, she's only a child, but still, it's not the proper thing. I'll tell her.
How old is she?
17. She's actually 17. It is hot today. I'm tired. Let's sit down. Has Shigelski gone home?
Yes, he's gone.
It's a pity you didn't keep him. I can't imagine what induced that man to become a district doctor. He's very amusing. He makes me laugh.
Well, I thought you were not in a very laughing humor today.
What makes you think that?
Oh, I don't know.
Because nothing sentimental appears to me today? Oh, certainly, I must warn you, there's absolutely nothing that could touch me today. But that doesn't prevent me from laughing. On the contrary, besides, there's something I had to discuss with Shigelski today.
May I ask what?
No, you mayn't. As it is, you know everything I think, everything I do. That is boring.
I beg your pardon, I had no idea.
I want to have some secrets from you.
What next? From what you say, one might suppose I know everything.
And don't you?
You are pleased to make fun of me.
Oh, don't you know everything that goes on in me? If you don't, I can't congratulate you on your insight. When a man watches me from morning to night...
Me? Is that a reproach?
Reproach? No, I see you certainly have not much insight.
Perhaps not. But since I watch you from morning to night, allow me to tell you one thing I have noticed.
About me? Please do.
You won't be angry with me?
Oh, no. I should like to be, but I shan't.
For some time past, Natalya Petrovna, you have been in a state of permanent irritability, and that irritability is something unconscious, involuntary. You seem to be in a state of inward conflict, as though you were perplexed. I had never observed anything of the sort in you before my visit to the Krenitsins. It's only come on lately. At times you sigh, such deep, deep sighs, like a man who's very tired, so tired he can't find rest.
And what do you deduce from that, you observant person?
I deduce nothing. It worries me.
Humbly grateful for your sympathy.
Besides...
Oh, please, change the subject.
You have no plans for going out anywhere today?
No.
Why not? It's so fine.
Too lazy. Tell me, you know Bolshintsov, of course.
Our neighbor, Afanasy
Yes.
Ivanovich. Ah, what a question. Only the day before yesterday we were playing preference with him in your house.
I want to know what sort of man he is.
Bolshintsov.
Yes, Bolshintsov.
Well, I must say, I never expected that.
What did you expect?
That you would ever be making inquiries about Bolshintsov, a foolish, fat, tedious man. Though, of course, there's no harm in the man.
He is not by any means so foolish or tedious as you think.
Perhaps not. I must own I haven't studied the gentleman very carefully.
You haven't been watching him.
And what has induced you?
Oh, nothing.
Look, Natalya Petrovna, how lovely that dark green oak is against the dark blue sky. It's all bathed in the sunlight, and what rich colors, what inexhaustible life and strength in it, especially when you compare it with that young birch tree. She looks as though she might pass away in radiance. Her tiny leaves gleam with a liquid brilliance as though melting. Yet she is lovely too.
Do you know, Rakitin, I noticed it ages ago. You have a very delicate feeling for the so-called beauties of nature, and talk very elegantly and cleverly about them. So elegantly and cleverly that I imagine nature ought to be unutterably grateful for your choice and happy phrases. You dance attendance on her like a perfumed marquis on high red heels, dallying with a pretty peasant girl. Only, I'll tell you what's wrong. It sometimes seems to me that she could never understand or appreciate your subtle observations, just as the peasant girl wouldn't understand the courtly compliments of the marquis. Nature is far simpler, even coarser than you suppose, because, thank God, she's healthy. Birch trees don't melt or fall into swoons like nervous ladies.
Quel tirade. Nature is healthy. That is, in other words, I'm a sickly creature.
Oh, you're not the only sickly creature. We are neither of us too healthy.
Oh, I know that way of telling a person the most unpleasant things in the most inoffensive way. Instead of telling him to his face, for instance, you're a fool, my friend, you need only tell him with a good-natured smile, we are both fools, you
You're
know.
offended? What nonsense. I only meant to say that we are both, since you don't like the word sickly, we are both old. Very old.
In what way are we old? I don't think so of myself.
Well, listen. Here we are sitting on this very seat. A quarter of an hour ago, two really young creatures have been sitting, perhaps.
Belyaev and Verochka? Well, of course, they are younger than we are. There's a few years difference between us, that's all. But that doesn't make us old yet.
The difference between us is not only in years.
I understand. You envy them, their naivety, their freshness and innocence, their foolishness, in fact.
You think so? Oh, you think that they are foolish? You think everybody foolish today, I see. No, you don't understand me. And besides, foolish? What does that matter? What's the good of being clever if you're not amusing? Nothing is more depressing than that sort of gloomy cleverness.
Why didn't you say it straight out without these hints? I don't amuse you, that's what you mean. Why find fault with cleverness in general on account of one miserable sinner
No,
like
that's
me?
not what I mean. Have you been picking raspberries, Katya?
Yes, madam.
Show me. Oh, what splendid raspberries! What a color! Though your cheeks are redder still. Well, run along.
Ah, there's a young creature after your taste.
Of course.
Where are you going?
Well, first, I want to see what Verochka's doing. It's time she was indoors. And secondly, I must own I don't like our conversation. We had better drop our discussions of nature and youth for a time.
Perhaps you would rather walk alone?
To tell the truth, I should. We shall see each other again soon. But we are parting friends.
Yes, indeed.
Goodbye for the present.
What is the matter with her? Simply caprice? What is it? I have never seen that in her before. On the contrary, I know no woman less moody. What is the reason? Ah, how absurd a man is who has only one idea in his head, one object, one interest in life, like me, for instance. It was true what she said. One keeps watching trifling things from morning to night, and one grows trivial oneself. That's so. But without her, I can't live. In her presence, I am more than happy. The feeling can't be called happiness. I belong to her entirely. Parting from her would, without exaggeration, be exactly like parting with life. What is wrong with her? What's the meaning of her agitation, the involuntary bitterness of her words? Is she beginning to be weary of me? I have never deceived myself. I know very well how she loves me, but I hope that with time, that quiet feeling, I hoped. Have I the right to hope? Dare I hope? I confess my position is pretty absurd, almost contemptible. Well, what's the use of talking like that? She's an honest woman, and I'm not a Lovelace. More's the pity. Well, that's enough. I must put this nonsense out of my head. Ah, what a glorious day. How skillfully she stung me. My choice and happy expressions. She's very clever, especially when she's in a bad humor. And what's this sudden adoration of youth and innocence, this tutor she often talks about? I must say, I see nothing very striking in him. He's simply a student, like all students. Can she? Impossible. She's out of humor. She doesn't know what she wants, and so she snaps at me as children beat their nurse. A flattering comparison. But she must go her own way. When this fit of depression and uneasiness is over, she will be the first to laugh at that lanky boy, that raw youth. Your explanation is not bad, Mikhail Aleksandrovich, but is it true? God knows. Well, we shall see. It's not the first time, my dear fellow, that after endless fretting and pondering, you have had suddenly to give up all your subtle conjectures, fold your hands, and wait meekly for what is to come. And meanwhile, you must recognize it's pretty awkward and bitter for you. But that's what I'm for, it seems. Ah, here he is, our unsophisticated young man, just when he's wanted. I haven't once had a real talk with him. Oh, let's see what he's like. Ah, Aleksei Nikolayevich. So you have come out for a turn in the fresh air too?
Yes.
Though I must say the air is not so very fresh today. The heat's terrific, but in the shade here under these lime trees, it's endurable. Did you see Natalya Petrovna?
I met her just now. She's gone indoors with Vera Aleksandrovna.
Wasn't it you I saw here a half an hour ago with Vera Aleksandrovna?
Yes, we were having a walk.
Ah, well, how do you like living in the country?
I like the country. The only thing is, the shooting is not good here.
You're fond of shooting then?
Aren't you?
I know, I'm a poor shot. I'm too lazy.
I'm lazy too, but not in that way.
Oh, are you lazy about reading?
No,
then?
I love reading, but I'm too lazy to work long at a time, especially too lazy to go on doing the same thing.
Talking to ladies, for instance.
You're laughing at me. I'm frightened of ladies.
Ah, what an idea. Why should I laugh at you?
Oh, that's all right. I don't mind. Oh, tell me, where can I get gunpowder about here?
Oh, you can get it no doubt in the town. It is sold there. But do you want good powder?
No, it's not for shooting. It's for making fireworks.
Oh, can you make them?
Yes. So I picked out the right place already, the other side of the pond. I heard it's Natalya Petrovna's name day next week, so they will come in for that.
Natalya Petrovna will be pleased at such an attention from you. She likes you, Aleksei Nikolayevich, I may tell you.
I'm very much flattered. By the way, Mikhail Aleksandrovich, I believe you take a magazine. Could you let me have it to
Certainly, with pleasure. There's good poetry in it.
I'm not fond of poetry.
How's that?
I don't know. Comic verses strike me as far-fetched. Besides, there aren't many, and sentimental ones, I don't know. There's something unreal in them somehow.
You prefer novels?
Yes, I like good novels, but critical articles, they appeal to me.
Oh, why?
Oh, it's a fine man that writes them.
And you don't go in for authorship yourself?
Oh, no. It's silly to write if you've got no talent. It only makes people laugh at you. Besides, it's a queer thing. I wish you would explain it to me. Sometimes a man seems sensible enough, but when he takes up a pen, he's perfectly hopeless. No, writing's not for us, and we must thank God if we understand what's written.
Do you know, Aleksei Nikolayevich, not many young men have as much common sense as you have.
Well, thank you for the compliment. I'm going to let off the fireworks the other side of the pond because I can make Roman candles and they will be reflected in the water.
That would be beautiful. Excuse me, Alexei Nikolayevich. By the way, do you know French?
No. I translated a novel of Paul de Kock's La Latière de Montfermeil. Perhaps you've heard of it for 50 rubles. I didn't know a word of French. For instance, Quatre Vingts, I translated 4:20:10. Well, being hard up drove me to it, you know, but it's a pity. I should like to know French. It's my cursed laziness. I should like to read George Sand's in French, but the accent, I was one to get over the accent. And on, and in, on, in. Is it awful? Ugh.
Well, that's a difficulty that can be
please.
got over.
Tell me, what's the time?
Lizaveta
Bogdanovna is keeping Kolya a long time at the piano. I bet he's dying to be running about.
But one has to study too, you know, Alexei Nikolayevich.
You shouldn't often have to say that, Mikhail Alexandrovich, and I oughtn't to have to hear it. Of course, it would never do for everyone to be a loafer like me. But I only know that only too well.
Well, I know too, on the contrary, that just what you regard as a defect, your impulsiveness, your freedom from constraint, is what's attractive.
To whom, for instance?
Well, to Natalya Petrovna, for example.
Natalya Petrovna? Oh, with her, I don't feel that I am free, as you call it.
Is that really so?
After all, Mikhail Alexandrovich, isn't education the thing that matters most in a man? It's easy for you to talk. Can't make you out, really. What's that? I thought I heard a corn crake calling in the garden.
Perhaps, but where are you off to?
Oh, to fetch my gun.
Where are you going, Alexei Nikolayevich?
I was,
to fetch his gun. He heard a corn crake in the garden.
Please, don't shoot in the garden. Let the poor birds live. Besides, you may startle Granny.
I obey, madam.
Oh, Alexei Nikolayevich, aren't you ashamed? I obey, madam. What a way to speak. How can you talk like that? But wait, you see, Mikhail Alexandrovich and I, will see to your education. Yes, yes, we have talked together about you more than once already. There's a plot against you, I warn you. You will let me have a hand in your education, won't you?
Why, of course, I shall only be too.
To begin with, don't be shy. It doesn't suit you at all. Yes, we will look after you. We are old people, you know, he and I, while you are young. You are, aren't you? You will see how good it will be. You will look after Kolya, and we will look after you.
I shall be very grateful.
That's right. What have Mikhail and Alexandrovich and you been talking about?
He has been telling me how he translated a French book without knowing a word of French.
Ah, now there, we will teach you French. What have you done with your kite, by the way?
I've taken it indoors. I thought you didn't like it.
What made you think that? Was it because of Vera? Because I took Vera indoors? No, that you were mistaken. I tell you what, Kolya must have finished his lesson by now. Let's take him and Vera and the kite, shall we? And all of us together fly it in the meadow, yes?
With pleasure, Natalya Petrovna.
That's right then. Come, let us go. Let us go. But take my arm. How awkward you are. Come along, make haste.
What eagerness, what gaiety. I've never seen a look like that on her face. What a sudden transformation. Souvent femme varie. But I am certainly not in her good books today, that's clear. Well, we shall see what will come later. Is it possible? It can't be, but that smile, that warm, soft, bright look in her eyes. Oh, God, spare me from knowing the tortures of jealousy, especially a senseless jealousy. Hello, what do I see? Shpigelsky and Bolshintsov and, what do I see? Good day, gentlemen. I confess I didn't expect to see you today, Shpigelsky.
Oh, well, I didn't expect it myself. I never imagined. But you see, I called in on him, and he was already sitting in his carriage coming here, so I turned around and came back with him.
Well, you are very
I
welcome.
certainly was intending.
The servants told us you were all in the garden. Anyway, there was nobody in the drawing room.
But didn't you meet Natalya Petrovna? Why,
no,
just now?
we didn't come here straight from the house. Afanasy Ivanovich wanted to see whether there were any mushrooms in the copse.
I really.
Oh, there, we know how fond you are of mushrooms. So Natalya Petrovna has gone in? Well, then we can go back again.
Of course.
Yes, she has gone in to fetch them all out for a walk. They are going to fly a kite.
That's capital. It's just the weather for a walk.
You can stay here. I'll go in and tell her you have come.
Why should you trouble? Really, Mikhail Alexandrovich?
No trouble. I'm going in anyway.
Oh, well, in that case, we won't keep you. No ceremony, you know.
Goodbye for the present.
Goodbye. Well, Afanasy Ivanovich.
What did you mean about mushrooms, Ignatiy Ilyich? I'm amazed. What mushrooms?
Upon my soul, would you have had me say Afanasy Ivanovich was overcome with shyness? He wouldn't go straight in and insisted on taking another turn?
That's so, but all the same, mushrooms. I don't know, maybe I'm mistaken.
You certainly are, my dear fellow. I'll tell you what you'd better be thinking about. You see, we've come here, done as you wished. Look out now and don't make a mess of it.
But Ignatiy Ilyich, you know you. You told me, I should like to know for certain what answer.
My honored friend, it's reckoned over 15 miles from your place to here. At least 3 times every mile you have put that very question to me. Isn't that enough for you? Now listen. but this is the last time I give way to you. This is what Natalya Petrovna said to me.
Yes.
Yes, what do you mean by yes? I've told you nothing yet. I don't know, says she. Mr. Bolshintsov very well, but he seems to me he seems to me a good man. On the other hand, I don't intend to force Vera's inclinations, and so let him visit us. And if he wins,
she said wins.
If he wins her affections, Anya Semyonovna and I will not oppose.
Will not oppose? Is that what she said? Will not oppose?
Yes. What a queer fellow you are. We will not oppose their happiness. Their happiness. Yes, but observe, Afanasy Ivanovich, what your task is now. You have to persuade Vera Aleksandrovna herself that marrying you really will be happiness for her. You have to win her affection.
Yes, win. Exactly so, I agree with you.
You insisted on my bringing you here. Well, let's see how you will act.
Act? Yes, we must act. We must win. Exactly so. Only you see, Ignatiy Ilyich, may I admit to you as to my best friend, one of my weaknesses. I did, as you truly say, wish you to bring me here today.
You didn't wish it. You insisted, absolutely insisted on it.
Oh, well, we'll grant that. I agree with you. But you see, at home, I felt I was ready for anything. But now, I feel overcome with fears.
But what are you afraid of?
The risk, sir.
What?
The risk. There's a great risk. Ignatiy Ilyich, I must confess to you that...
As to your best friend, we know all about it. Get it on.
Exactly so. I agree with you. I must confess to you, Ignatiy Ilyich, that I have had very little to do with ladies, with the female sex. In general, if I may say so, I will confess frankly, Ignatiy Ilyich, that I simply can't imagine what one can talk about to a person of the female sex, and alone with her too, and especially a young lady.
You surprise me. I really don't know what one can't talk about to a person of the female sex, especially a young lady, and particularly alone with her.
Oh, you. Good gracious, but I'm not you. So you see, it's just in this case I want to appeal to you, Ignatiy Ilyich. They say that in these affairs, it's the first step that counts. So couldn't you just, to give me a start in the conversation, tell me of something to say, something agreeable in the way, for instance, of an observation. And then I can get along. After that, I could manage somehow by myself.
I won't tell you anything to say, Afanasy Ivanovich, because nothing I could tell you would be of any use to you. But I will give you some advice if you'd like.
My dear sir, pray do. And as to my gratitude,
Oh, come. I'm not bargaining with you, am I?
You can reckon on the 3 horses.
Oh, that will do. You see, Afanasy Ivanovich, you are unquestionably a capital fellow in every respect. A man of excellent qualities.
Oh, dear.
You are besides the owner, I believe, of 300 serfs.
320, sir.
Not mortgaged.
I owe nobody a farthing.
There you are. I've been telling you, you're an excellent man and the most eligible of suitors. But you say yourself you've had very little to do with ladies.
That's just so. I may say, Ignatiy Ilyich, I've avoided the female sex from a child.
Quite so. That's not a vice in husbands, quite the contrary. But still, in certain circumstances, at the first declaration of love, for instance, it is essential to be able to say something, isn't it?
I quite agree with you.
Or else, Vera Aleksandrovna may simply suppose you feel unwell, and nothing more. Besides, though your exterior figure is also perfectly presentable in all aspects, it does not offer any feature very striking at first sight. Not at first sight, and that's what's wanted in this case.
That's what's wanted in this case.
Young ladies are attracted by it anyway. And then your age too. In fact, it's not for you and me to try to please. And so it's no good for you to think of any agreeable remarks. That's a poor thing to depend on. But you have something else to count upon, far firmer and more reliable, and that's virtues, my dear Afanasy Ivanovich. And your 320 serfs. In your place, I should simply say to Vera Alexandrovna,
Alone with her?
of course alone with her. Vera Alexandrovna, I love you and ask your hand in marriage. I'm a kind-hearted, good-natured, harmless man, and I'm not poor. You will be perfectly free with me. I will do my best to please you in every way. And I beg you to find out about me, to take a little more notice of me than you have done hitherto, and to give me an answer as you please and when you please. I am ready to wait and shall consider it a pleasure to do so.
To do so. Yes, I quite agree with you. Only I tell you what, Ignatiy Ilyich, I believe you used the word harmless. You said a harmless man.
Well, aren't you a harmless man?
Yes, but still I fancy, would it be the right thing, Ignatiy Ilyich? Wouldn't it be better to say, for instance?
For instance?
For instance? For instance? Or maybe harmless will do.
Now, Afanasy Ivanovich, you listen to me. The more simply you express yourself, the plainer your words, the better it will go. Trust me. And above all, don't be too pressing, Afanasy Ivanovich. Vera Alexandrovna is very young. You may scare her. Give her time to think over your offer. Avoid fine words, and I guarantee your success. Why, here they are all coming to... Where are you going? To pick mushrooms again? The great thing is not to be scared.
Vera Alexandrovna knows nothing about it yet, does she?
I should think not.
Well, I rely on you.
Everybody comes back in.
How do you do? How are you, Shpigelsky? I didn't expect you today, but I'm very glad to see you. How are you, Afanasy Ivanovich?
This gentleman here insisted on bringing me.
Oh, I'm very much obliged to him. But do you need forcing to come see us?
Oh, good heavens. But I was only here this morning. Oh, dear me.
Diplomats caught.
I'm delighted, Natalya Petrovna, to see that you are in very good humor.
You think it necessary to remark it? Is it so rare, then, with me?
Oh, goodness gracious, no.
Oh, Monsieur le Diplomate, you're getting more and more in a tangle.
But Mama, when are we going to fly the kite?
When you like. Aleksei Nikolayevich and you, Vera, let us go to the meadow. You won't care about it, I expect. Lizaveta Bogdanovna, and you, Rakitin, I leave our good friend Afanasy Ivanovich to you.
What makes you think I care about it, Natalya Petrovna?
You are sensible people. It must seem childish to you. But as you like, we don't want to prevent your following us. Come along.
Our good friend Afanasy Ivanovich, give your arm to Lizaveta Bogdanovna.
With the greatest pleasure.
We'll go along together, if you'll allow me, Mikhail Alexandrovich. My word, how they're racing along the avenue. Let's go see them fly a kite, though we are sensible people. Afanasy Ivanovich, will you lead the way?
The weather is certainly very agreeable today, one may say.
Yes, indeed, very agreeable.
I've something I want to talk to you about, Mikhail Alexandrovich. What is it?
Oh, nothing. I was amused at our following the rear like this.
The front rank easily turns into the rear guard, you know. It all depends which way you are going. Act 3.
The scene is the same as in Act 1. Rakitin and Shpigelsky come in from the outer room.
Well, how about it, Mikhail Alexandrovich? For goodness sake, do help me.
In what way can I help you, Ivanovitch?
In what way? Why, put yourself in my place, Mikhail Alexandrovich. This is no concern of mine, really. Indeed, I've been acting chiefly from a wish to serve others. My kind heart will be my ruin.
Well, ruin's a good way off still.
About that, there's no knowing, but my position is certainly awkward. I brought Bolshintsov here at Natalya Petrovna's wish and have given him her answer with her permission, and now on one side I get sulky looks as though I've done something foolish, and on the other Bolshintsov gives me no peace. They avoid him and won't say a word to me.
What possessed you to take up this business, Ignatiy Ilyich? Why, Bolshintsov, between ourselves, he's simply a fool.
Well, I declare, between ourselves, that's a piece of news. And since when have sensible men been the only ones to marry? We must leave the fools free to get married, if nothing else. You say I've taken up this business. Not at all. I'll tell you how it came about. A friend asks me to put in a word for him. Well, was I to refuse? I'm a good-natured man. I don't know how to refuse. I carry out my friend's commission. The answer I get is, very much obliged. Pray don't trouble yourself further. I understand and don't trouble myself further. Then they take it up themselves and encourage me, so to speak. I obey. And now they're indignant with me. And in what way am I to blame?
Why, who says you're to blame? But the only thing that puzzles me is what induces you to take so much trouble.
What induces? What induces? The man gives me no peace.
Oh, come, nonsense.
Besides, he's an old friend.
Is he? Oh, well, that's another matter.
I'll be open with you, though. There's no deceiving you. Oh, well, he has promised me. One of my horses has gone lame, so you see, he has promised me...
A horse to replace it?
Well, since I must own up, 3 new ones.
Aha, you should have said that before.
But please don't imagine. I would never have consented to be a go-between in this affair. It would have been utterly unlike me if I had not known Bolshinov to be a thoroughly honest man. Besides, all I want even now is a definite answer, yes or no.
Oh, surely things haven't reached that stage
But
yet.
what are you imagining? It's not a question of marriage, but of permission to come, to visit.
But whoever forbids it.
What a thing to say. Of course, if it were anybody else. But Bolshintsov's a shy man, a blessed innocent, straight out of the golden age, scarcely weaned from the feeding bottle. He has so little self-confidence. He needs some encouragement, while his intentions are most honorable.
Yes, and his horse is good.
And his horses are good. Won't you have some?
No, thanks.
So that's how it is, Mikhail Alexandrovich. As you see, I don't want to deceive you. Indeed, why should I? The thing's perfectly clear and straightforward. A man of excellent principles, with property quite harmless. If he suits, good. If he doesn't, well, they should say so.
That's all very well, no doubt. But how do I come in? I really don't see what I can do about
Mikhail Alexandrovich, as though we don't know that Natalya Petrovna has a very great respect for you and even sometimes follows your advice. Now do, Mikhail Alexandrovich, be a friend, put in a word.
And you think this is a good husband for little Vera?
I'm convinced of it. You don't believe it? Well, you'll see. As you know, the great thing in marriage is solid character, and Bolshintsov is solidity itself. And here I do believe is Natalya Petrovna herself coming in. My dear friend, my benefactor, the 2 chestnuts as trace horses and the bay in the shafts. You will do your best?
Oh, very well, very well.
Mind you, now I rely on you.
Ah, what a sly rogue that doctor is. Vera and Bolshintsov. Oh, but there you are. There are marriages worse than that. I'll do as he asks, and then it's not my business.
It's you. I thought you were in the garden.
You seem sorry I'm not.
Nonsense. Are you alone here?
Spigelsky has just gone.
Oh, that local Talleyrand. Well, what has he been saying to you? Is he still hanging about?
The local Talleyrand, as you call him, is evidently in disfavor today. But yesterday, I
He's
fancy.
funny. He's amusing, certainly, but he meddles in what is not his business. It's disagreeable. Besides, for all his obsequiousness, he's very impudent and persistent. He's a great cynic.
You didn't speak of him like that
Perhaps
yesterday.
not. So what was he talking about?
He talked to me about Bolshintsov.
That stupid creature?
Of him, too, you spoke very differently
Yesterday is not today.
True for others, but it seems not for me.
How's that?
For me, today is the same as yesterday.
I understand your reproach, but you are mistaken. Yesterday, I wouldn't admit that I was behaving badly to you. Don't contradict me. I know, and you know what I mean. But today, I admit it, I have been thinking things over today. But believe me, Michel, whatever silly thoughts take hold of me, whatever I say, whatever I do, there is no one I depend upon as I do on you. There's no one I love as I do you. You don't believe me?
I believe you. But you seem depressed today. What's the matter?
But I am convinced of one thing, Rakitin. One can never answer for oneself. One can never be sure of oneself. We often don't understand our past. How can we expect to answer for the future? There's no putting the future in fetters. Do you know, I want to tell you the truth. Perhaps I shall wound you a little, but I know you will be more hurt by my keeping things from you. I confess, Michel, this young student, this Belyaev, has made rather an impression on me.
I know that.
Oh, you've noticed it? For some time?
Yesterday. The day before yesterday. You remember I spoke of the change in you. I did not know then what to put it down to, but yesterday, after our talk and in the meadow, if you could have seen yourself, I didn't know you. You were like another woman. You laughed, you skipped and played about like a little girl. Your eyes were shining, your cheeks were flushed, and with what confiding interest and with what joyful attention you gazed at him. How you smiled. But even now, your face glows at the memory of it.
No, Rakitin, for God's sake, don't turn away from me. Listen, why exaggerate? This man has infected me with his youth. That's all. I've never been young myself, Michel. From childhood up to now, you know what my life has been. The novelty of it has gone to my head like wine. But I know it will pass as quickly as it has come. It's not worth talking about. Only don't turn away from me. Don't take your hand away. Help me.
Help you? A cruel saying. You don't know what is happening to you, Natalya Petrovna. You are sure it's not worth talking about, and you ask for help. Evidently, you feel you are in need of it.
That is, yes, I appeal to you as a friend.
Right so. I hope to justify your confidence. But let me have a moment to try and face it.
Face it? Why? Are you dreading anything unpleasant? Is anything changed?
Oh no, everything's the same.
What are you imagining, Michel? Surely you can't suppose.
Suppose nothing.
Surely you can't have such a contempt for me.
Oh, for God's sake, stop. We better talk about Bolshintsov. The doctor's expecting an answer from you about Vera, you know.
You're angry with me.
Me? Oh no. But I'm sorry for you.
Really, it's positively annoying, Michel. Aren't you ashamed? You say the doctor's expecting an answer, but who asked him to interfere?
You assured me that you yourself.
Perhaps, though I believe I said nothing definite. Besides, I may have changed my mind, and good gracious, what does it matter? Shpikalsky has a hand in all sorts of affairs. He can't expect to have everything his own way.
He only wants to know what answer.
What answer? Michel, don't. Give me your hand. Why this indifferent expression, this cold politeness? What have I done? Think a little. Is it my fault? I came to you hoping for good advice. I didn't hesitate for one instant. I never thought of concealing things from you, and you... I see I was wrong to be open with you. It would never have entered your head. You suspected nothing. You deceived me. And now goodness knows what you're imagining.
Imagining, not at all.
Give me your hand. You turn away from me. So much the worse for you then. But I don't blame you. You're jealous.
I have no right to be jealous, Natalya Petrovna. How could I be?
As you please. About Bolshintsov, I haven't yet spoken to Verochka.
I can send her to you at once.
Why at once? But as you please.
So you want me to fetch
Michel,
her?
for the last time, you said just now that you were sorry for me. Is this how you show it? Can you really?
Am I to send her?
Yes. He too. It's awful. He too, and I relied upon him. And Arkady. Oh, good heavens, I have not even thought of him. I see it's high time to put a stop to this. Yes, high time.
You sent for me, Natalya Petrovna?
Yes, Verochka. Yes, I wanted you.
Are you unwell?
Me? No, why?
I fancied.
No, it's nothing. I'm feeling the heat a little, that's all. Sit down. Tell me, Vera, are you doing anything particular just now?
No.
I ask you because I want to have a talk with you, a serious talk. You see, my dear, I've always looked on you as a child, but you are 17. You are a sensible girl. It's time for you to think about your future. You know I love you as a daughter. My house will always be your home. But all the same, in other people's eyes, you are an orphan. You have no fortune. You may in time grow tired of always living with strangers. Tell me, would you like to be mistress in your own house? Absolute mistress in it?
I don't understand you, Natalya Petrovna.
I have received an offer of marriage for you. You didn't expect that. I must own it. It seems strange to me, too. You are so young. I need not tell you that I do not mean to put pressure on you. In my opinion, you're too young to be married, but I thought it my duty to tell you. Vera, Vera, what is it? You're crying? You're trembling all over. Surely not afraid of me, are you, Vera?
I'm in your power, Natalya Petrovna.
Vera, aren't you ashamed to cry? Aren't you ashamed to say that you're in my power? What do you take me for? I'm speaking to you as I would to a daughter, and you... What? You're in my power? Then please laugh at once. I tell you to. That's right, Vera, my child. Treat me as though I were your mother, or no. Imagine that I'm an elder sister, and let us have a little talk together about these wonderful things, will you?
Oh, yes.
Well, listen then. Come a little nearer, that's right. To begin with, as your sister, we suppose there's no need for me to assure you that this is your home. A girl with eyes like yours is at home anywhere. So it not never enter your head that you are a burden to anybody in the world, or that anybody wants to get rid of you, you hear? But now, one fine day, your sister comes to you and says, "Just think, Vera, you have a suitor." Well, what answer would you make? That you're too young? That you're not thinking of marriage?
Yes, Natalya Petrovna.
But you wouldn't speak like that to your sister.
Oh, yes then.
Your sister agrees with you. The suitor is refused, and there's the end of it. But suppose the suitor is a good man and well-to-do, and if he's willing to wait, if he only asks permission to see you occasionally in the hope of gaining your affections in time?
Who's the suitor?
Oh, wouldn't you like to know? You don't guess?
No.
You've seen him today. It is true, he's not very handsome and not very young. Bolshintsov.
Afanasy Ivanovich?
Yes, Afanasy Ivanovich.
You're not joking.
No, but I see there is no hope for Bolshintsov. If you'd cried at his name, he might have hoped, but you laugh. There's nothing for him to go away, bless him.
I'm sorry, but really I didn't expect. Surely people don't get married at his age.
What an idea! How old is he? He's not 50. The very age to marry.
Perhaps, but he has such a queer face.
Well, don't let us say any more about him. He's dead and buried, bless him. But it's only natural a child of your age cannot care for men like Bolshintsov. You all want to marry for love, not from prudence, don't you?
Yes, Natalya Petrovna, and you, didn't you marry Arkadi Sergeyevich for love too?
Of course. Yes, Vera, I called you a child just now, but children are right. And so that business is settled. Bolshintsov is dismissed. I must own it, I would not have been quite pleasant to me to see his puffy old countenance beside your fresh young face, though he is a very good man. Do you see now how little reason you had to be afraid of me? How quickly it's all settled. Really, you behave to me as though I were your patroness. You know how I hate that word.
Forgive me, Natalya Petrovna.
Oh, I should hope so. Really, you're not afraid of me?
No, I love you. I'm not afraid of you.
Thank you. So now we are great friends, and we'll have no secrets from each other. Well, suppose I were to ask you, Verochka, whisper in my ear, is it Only because Bolshintsov is much older than you and not a beauty that you don't want to marry him?
Surely that's the reason enough, Natalya Petrovna.
Oh, I don't deny it, but there's no other reason?
I don't know him at all.
Quite so, but you don't answer my question.
There is no other reason.
Really? In that case, I should advise you to think it over. It wouldn't be easy to be in love with Bolshintsov, I know, but I say again, he's a good man. Of course, if you cared for anyone else, that would be a different matter. But your heart has not told you nothing so far, has it?
What do you mean?
You love no one else.
I love you, Kolya. I love Anna Semyonovna too.
I'm not speaking of that sort of love. You don't understand me. Among the young men you may have seen here, for instance, or at parties, is there no one who attracts you?
No, I like some of them, but
I noticed, for instance, that at the Krynitskins you danced 3 times with that tall officer. What was his name?
an officer?
Yes, that man with the big mustache.
Oh, that man. No, I don't like him.
Well, and Shalansky?
Shalansky's a nice man, but I don't think he cares about me.
Oh, why?
I fancy he thinks more of Lizaveta.
Ah, you noticed that.
Hmm.
Oh, Rakitin?
I love Mikhail Aleksandrovich very much indeed.
Yes, like a brother.
Hmm.
And by the way, there's Belyaev.
Aleksei Nikolayevich? I like Aleksei Nikolayevich.
Yes, he's a nice fellow, but he's so shy with everybody.
No, he's not shy with me.
Ah,
He talks to me. Perhaps you fancy that because he's afraid of you. He has not got to know you yet.
how do you know he's afraid of me?
He told me so.
Oh, he has told you. So he's more unreserved with you than with other people?
I don't know how he is with other people, but with me, perhaps it's because we are both orphans. Besides, he looks on me as a child.
Do you think so? But I like him very much too. He must have a very kind heart.
Oh, the kindest. If only you knew. Everyone in the house likes him. He's so friendly. He talks to everybody. He's ready to help anyone. The day before yesterday, he carried a poor old beggar woman in his arms from the high road to the hospital. He gathered a flower for me one day from such a high crag that I shut my eyes in terror. I kept thinking he would fall and be hurt, but he's so clever. You saw yesterday in the meadow how clever he is at that sort of thing.
Yes, that's true.
Do you remember the great ditch he jumped over when he was running after the kite? It was nothing to him.
And did he really pick a flower for you from a dangerous place? He must be fond of you.
And he's always good-humored, always in good spirits.
It's strange, though. Why isn't he like that with me?
But I tell you, he doesn't know you. Wait a little, I'll tell him. I'll tell him there's no need to be afraid of you. Shall I? That you're so kind.
Thanks so much.
You'll see. He does what I tell him, though I'm younger than he is.
I didn't know you were such friends, but mind, Vera, be careful. Of course, he's an excellent young man, but, you know, at his age, it's not suitable. People may imagine things. I mentioned that, you remember, in the garden yesterday? On the other hand, I don't want to check your inclinations either. I have too much confidence in you and in him, but still, you mustn't be angry with me for my scruples, my dear. It's the duty of us old folks to worry young people with our lectures. Though I really need not say all this. You simply like him, don't you? And nothing more.
He...
Now there you are, looking at me like that again. Is that the way to look at a sister? Vera, listen and lean down to me. What if a sister, a real sister, whispered now in your ear, Verochka, is it true you don't love anyone, do you? What would you answer? Those eyes want to tell me something. You do love him? Tell me you do.
Oh, I don't know what I feel.
Poor child, you're in love. You're in love. And he, Vera, he...
Why do you ask me questions? I don't know. Perhaps. I don't know. I don't know. Natalya Petrovna, what's the matter?
Nothing. Nothing. Why? Nothing.
You're so pale, Natalya Petrovna. What's wrong? Let me ring.
No, don't ring. It's nothing. It will pass. There, it's over now.
Let me fetch somebody anyway.
No, don't. I want to be alone. Leave me alone. Do you hear? We will finish our talk later. Run along.
You're not angry with me, Natalya Petrovna.
Angry? What for? Not at all. No, I'm grateful to you for your confidence. Only leave me alone. Please, just now.
Natalya Petrovna.
I asked you to leave me alone. Now it's all clear to me. These children love each other. Oh, so much the better, these children. God give them happiness. I could imagine. She was not long blurting it out. I must own I did not expect it. I must own the news has startled me, but wait a bit, it's not all settled yet. My God, what am I saying? What is wrong with me? I don't know myself. What am I coming to? What am I about? Trying to marry the poor girl to an old man? I used the doctor as a go-between. He suspects, he drops hits. Arkadi, Rakitin, well, what does this mean? Me jealous of Vera? Me in love with him? Still you doubt it, don't you? You're in love to your misery. How it has come about, I don't know. It's as though I'd been poisoned. All at once, everything destroyed, scattered, swept away. He's afraid of me. They're all afraid of me. What could he see in me? What use is a creature like me to him? He's young and she is young, while how could he think much of me? They're both foolish, as Rakitin says. Oh, I hate that clever friend. And Arkadi, my good, trusting Arkadi. God, killing me. But I believe I'm going out of my mind. Why exaggerate? Yes, of course I'm overwhelmed. It is so strange to me. It's the first time yes, the first time I'm in love. For the first time now. He must go away. Yes. And Rakitin too. It's time to come to my senses. I've allowed myself to take one step. See what I've become? And what is it in him attracts me? So this is it. This dreadful feeling. Katie. Yes, I will fall into his arms. I will beg him to forgive me, to protect me, to save me, he and no one else. All the others are strangers to me and must remain strangers. But can there be no other way out? That girl, she's a child. She may be mistaken. That's all childishness, really. Why should I will talk to him myself. I will ask him. What? What, you're hoping? You still want hope? What am I hoping for? My God! Don't make me despise myself.
Rakitin comes.
Natalya Petrovna. What can have happened with Vera? Natalya Petrovna.
Is it? Oh, you.
Vera Alexandrovna told me you were unwell.
I'm quite well. What made her?
No, Natalya Petrovna, you are not well. You should see yourself.
Well, perhaps not, but what's that to you? What do you want? What have you come for?
I'll tell you what I have come for. I have come to ask your forgiveness. Half an hour ago, I was unspeakably stupid and rude. Forgive me. You see, Natalya Petrovna, however modest a man's desires and hopes, it is hard for a moment anyway for him to keep his head when they are suddenly snatched away from him. But I have come to my senses. I understand my position and my fault, and I want only one thing, your forgiveness. Look at me. Don't you two turn away from me. Beside you is your old Rakitin, your friend, a man who asks nothing but to be allowed to serve you, as you said, to help you. Don't deprive me of your confidence. Rely on me and forget everything that may have wounded you.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, Rakitin. I haven't heard a word of what you've been saying.
I begged you to forgive me, Natalya Petrovna. I asked you whether you would let me be your friend still.
Rakitin, tell me, what is the matter with me?
You're in love.
I'm in love. It's madness, Rakitin. It's impossible. Can such things happen all of a sudden? You say I'm in love.
Yes, you're in love, poor dear woman. Don't deceive yourself.
What am I to do?
I can tell you, Natalya Petrovna, if you promise.
You know, that girl Vera loves him. They're in love with each other.
If so, a reason the
I've
more.
long suspected it, but she acknowledged it herself just now.
Poor woman.
Come, I must pull myself together. I believe you were going to say something. For God's sake, Rakitin, advise me what to do.
I'm willing to advise you, Natalya Petrovna, only on one condition.
Tell me.
Promise that you won't suspect my motives. Tell me that you believe in my disinterested desire to help you. Do you help me too? Let your confidence give me strength, or else let me keep silent.
Speak. Speak.
You have no doubt of me?
Speak.
Well then, listen. He must go away. Yes. You must go. I'm not going to speak to you of your husband, your duty. On my lips, such words are out of place. But those who love each other, you told me so yourself just now. Imagine yourself now between them. Why, your position will be awful.
He must go. And you remain?
I? I must go too. For the sake of your peace, your happiness, Verochka's happiness, both he and I, we must both go away forever.
Rakitin, I have sunk so low that I was almost ready to sacrifice that poor girl, an orphan entrusted to me by my mother, to marry her to a stupid, absurd old man. I couldn't bring myself to it. Rakitin, the words died away on my lips when she burst out laughing at the suggestion. But I have been plotting with the doctor. I have put up with his meaning smiles. I have borne with his grins, his compliments, his hints. Oh, I feel I am on the brink of a precipice. Save me.
Natalya Petrovna, you see that I am right. He ought to go. We ought both to go. There is no other way to save you.
But what to live for afterward?
Good God, is it as bad as that? Natalya Petrovna, you will get over it, believe me. This will pass. What, nothing to live for?
Yes. What have I to live for when all abandon me?
But your family. If you like, after he is gone, I might stay a few days just to...
I understand. You are reckoning on habit, on our old friendship. You hope I shall come to myself and turn to you again, don't you? I understand you.
Natalya Petrovna, why do you insult me?
I understand you, but you are mistaken.
What, after your promise, when simply for your sake only, for your happiness, for your position in society, in fact...
Oh, how long have you been concerned about that? Why is it you have never spoken of it before?
Natalya Petrovna, I will leave this place today, at once, and you shall never see me
Michelle,
again.
forgive me. I don't know what I'm saying. You see the state I'm in. Forgive me.
Natalya Petrovna.
Oh, Michelle, I am unutterably miserable. Help me. I am lost without you.
I was always of that opinion. What is the meaning of this? What's this scene?
Oh, nothing.
Is Natalya Petrovna unwell?
No, but...
And why has she run away so suddenly? What were you talking about? She seemed to be crying. Were you consoling her? What's the matter?
Nothing really.
How can there be nothing the matter, Mikhail Alexandrovich? I'll go and see.
No, you'd better leave her in peace, please.
But what does it all mean? Tell us.
Nothing, I assure you. I promise to explain it to you both today. I give you my word. But now, please, if you have any trust in me, don't ask me, and don't worry Natalya Petrovna.
Very well. But it is strange. This sort of thing has never happened with Natasha before. It's something quite out of the way.
What I want to know is what could make Natasha cry? And why has she gone away? Are we strangers?
Of course not. What an idea. But as a matter of fact, we had not finished our conversation. I must ask you both to leave us alone for a little while.
Indeed. There's some secret between you then.
Yes, but you shall know it.
Come along, Mama. Let us leave them. Let them finish their mysterious conversation.
But
Come, let us go. You hear he promises to explain.
You needn't worry.
I'm not worrying. Let us go.
Natalya Petrovna, please come back.
What did they say?
Nothing, don't worry yourself. They were rather surprised, certainly. Arkady thought you were ill. He noticed how upset you were. Sit down, you can hardly stand. I said, I begged him not to worry you, to leave us alone.
And he agreed.
Yes, I must say, to promise I'd explain it all tomorrow. Why did you go away?
Why, indeed. What are you going to say?
I'll think of something to say, but that's no matter just now. We must take advantage of this reprieve. You see that this can't go on. These violent emotions are too much for you. They are unworthy of you. I myself, but that's not the point. Only be firm and I'll manage. You agree with me, you know.
About what?
The necessity of our going. You do agree. If that's so, it's no good to delay. If you'll let me, I'll talk to Belyaev at once. He's a decent fellow. He'll understand.
You want to talk to him? You? But what can you say to him? Rakitin, listen. Don't you think that we're both behaving like lunatics? I was in a panic. I frightened you, and perhaps it's all about nothing that matters.
What?
Really? Well, what is the matter with us? It seems only a little while ago everything was so quiet and peaceful in this house, and all at once, goodness knows how. Really, we've all gone out of our minds. Come, it's time to stop. We've been silly enough. Let us go on as before, and there'll be no need to explain anything to Arkady. I'll tell him about our antics myself, and we'll laugh over them together. I need no one to intercede between my husband and me.
Natalya Petrovna, you are frightening me now. You're smiling, and you're as pale as death. Do remember what you said to me only a quarter of an hour ago.
I dare say, but I see what it is. You are raising this storm that you may not sink alone.
Again, suspicion, again, reproaches. Natalya Petrovna, God forgive you, but you torture me, or do you regret having spoken so freely?
I regret nothing.
And how am I to understand you?
Rakitin, if you say a single word from me or about me to Belyaev, I will never forgive you.
Oh. So that's it. Don't worry, Natalya Petrovna. So far from telling Mr. Belyaev anything, I won't even say goodbye to him when I take my departure. I don't mean to pester you with my services.
You imagine perhaps that I have changed my mind about his going?
I imagine
That's
nothing.
not so. I'm so convinced of the necessity, as you say, of his leaving, that I mean to dismiss him myself. Yes, I will dismiss him myself. Yes, and at once. I beg you to send him to me.
What?
This very minute? I ask you to do so, Rakitin. You see, I am composed now. Besides, I shan't be interrupted just now. I must seize the opportunity. I shall be much obliged to you. I'll question him.
But he won't tell you anything, I can assure you. He admitted to me that he felt awkward with you.
Ah, you've been talking to him about me. Oh, forgive me, Michel. Send him to me. You'll see. I will dismiss him and all will be over. It will all pass and be forgotten like a bad dream. Please fetch him. I absolutely must have a final conversation with him, you will be pleased with me. Pray, do.
Certainly, your wishes shall be obeyed.
Thank you, Michel.
Oh, spare me your thanks at least.
He's a good man. But is it possible I ever loved him? He's right, he must go, but how can I dismiss him? I only want to know whether he really cares for that girl. Perhaps it's all nonsense. How could I be worked up into such a state? What was the object of all that outburst? Well, it can't be helped now. I want to know what he's going to say. But he must go. He must. He must. He may not be willing to answer. He's afraid of me, of course. Well, so much the better. There's no need for me to say much to him. Oh, my head aches. Shall I put it off to tomorrow? Yes, I keep fancying they are all watching me today. What am I coming to? No, better make an end of it at once. Just one last effort, and I'm free. Yes, I yearn for freedom and peace. Oh, here he is.
Natalya Petrovna, Mikhail Alexandrovich tells me you want to see me.
Yes, certainly. I have to speak to you.
Speak to me?
Yes, speak to you. I must tell you, Aleksei Nikolayevich, I'm displeased with you.
May I ask on what ground?
Listen, I really don't know how to begin. However, I must tell you first that my dissatisfaction is not due to any remissness in your work. On the contrary, I'm pleased with your methods with Kolya.
And what can it be?
You need not be alarmed. Your fault is not so serious. You are young. You have probably never before stayed with strangers. You could not foresee.
But Natalya Petrovna...
You want to know what's wrong. I understand your impatience, so I must tell you that Verochka has confessed everything.
Vera Aleksandrovna? What can Vera Aleksandrovna have confessed, and what have I to do with it?
So you really don't know what she can have confessed? You can't guess?
No, I can't.
Well, if so, I beg your pardon. If you really can't guess, I must apologize. I supposed I was mistaken. But allow me to say I don't believe you. I understand what makes you say so. I respect your discretion.
I haven't the least idea what you mean, Natalya Petrovna.
Really? Do you expect to persuade me that you haven't noticed that child's feeling for you?
Vera Aleksandrovna's feeling for me? I really don't know what to say to that. Good gracious, I believe I have always behaved with Vera Aleksandrovna as
with everybody else, haven't you? However, that may be. Whether you are really unaware of it or are pretending to be, the fact is the girl loves you. She admitted it to me herself. Well, now I am asking you, what do you mean to do?
What do I mean to do?
Yes.
All of this is so unexpected, Natalya Petrovna.
Aleksei Nikolayevich, I see I have not put the matter properly. You don't understand me. You think I'm angry with you, but I'm only a little upset, and that's very natural. Calm yourself. Let us sit down. I will be frank with you, Aleksei Nikolayevich. You and you to be a little less reserved with me. You have really no need to be on your guard with me. Vera loves you. Of course, that's not your fault. I'm willing to assume that you are in no way responsible for it. But you see, Aleksei Nikolayevich, she's an orphan. She is my ward. I am responsible for her future, for her happiness. She's very young, and I feel sure that the feelings you have inspired in her may soon pass off. At her age, love does not last long, but you understand it was my duty to warn you. It's always dangerous to play with fire, and I do not doubt that, knowing her feeling for you, you will adopt a different behavior with her, will avoid seeing her alone, walking in the garden. Won't you? I can rely on you. With another man, I should be afraid to speak so plainly.
Natalya Petrovna, I assure you, I appreciate.
I tell you that I do not distrust. Besides, all this will remain a secret between us.
I must own, Natalya Petrovna, all you have told me seems to me so strange. Of course, I can't venture to disbelieve you, but still.
Listen, Aleksei Nikolayevich, all I said to you just now, I said it on the supposition that on your side there is nothing. Because if that is not so, of course I don't know you well, but I do know you well enough to see no reason to make serious objections. You have no fortune, but you are young. You have your future before you, and when two people love each other, I tell you again, I thought it my duty to warn you, as a man of honor, of the consequences of your friendship with Vera. But if you...
I really don't know what you mean, Natalya Petrovna.
Oh, believe me, I'm not trying to wring out a confession. There is no need. I shall see from your manner how it is. But I ought to tell you that Vera fancied that you were not quite indifferent to her.
Natalya Petrovna, I see that I can't go on living in your house.
You might have waited for me to decide that.
You have been frank with me. Let me be frank with you. I don't love Vera Aleksandrovna. At least I don't love her in the way you suppose.
But I didn't...
And if Vera Aleksandrovna cares for me, if she fancied, as you say, that I care for her, I don't want to deceive her. I will tell her the whole truth myself. But after such plain speaking, you must see, Natalya Petrovna, that it would be difficult for me to stay here. My position would be too awkward. I can't tell you how sorry I shall be to leave, but there's nothing else for me to do. I shall always think of you with gratitude. May I go now? I shall come to say goodbye properly later on.
As you please. But I own I did not expect this. That was not my object in wishing to speak to you. I only wanted to warn you, Vera is still a child. I have perhaps taken it all too seriously. I don't see the necessity of your leaving us. However, as you please.
Natalya Petrovna, it is really impossible for me to go on staying here.
I see you are very ready to leave us.
No, Natalya Petrovna, I'm not.
I'm not in the habit of keeping people against their will, but I must own I don't like it at all.
Well, Natalya Petrovna, I shouldn't like to cause you the slightest annoyance. I'll stay.
Oh, I didn't expect you would change your mind so quickly. I'm grateful, but let me think it over. Perhaps you're right. Perhaps you ought to go. I'll think it over. I'll let you know. May I leave you in uncertainty till this evening?
I am willing to wait as long as you like.
You promise me?
What?
I believe you meant to speak to Vera. I'm not sure that it's the right thing, but I'll let you know what I decide. I begin to think that you really ought to go away. Goodbye for now. My mind's at rest. He does not love her. And so instead of sending him away, I'm preventing his going. He'll stay. But what shall I say to Rakitin? What have I done? And what right had I to publish abroad that poor girl's love? I trapped her into confessing it, a half confession, and then I go so ruthlessly, so brutally. Perhaps he was beginning to care for her. What right had I to trample on that flower in the bud? But have I trampled on it? He may have deceived me. I tried to deceive him. Oh no, he's too good for that. He's not like me. And why was I in such haste, blurting it out all at once? I needn't have done it. If I could have foreseen how sly I was, how I lied to him, and he, how boldly and independently he spoke, I felt humbled by him. He is a man. I didn't know him before. Oh, he must go away. If he stays, I feel that I shall end by losing all self-respect. He must go or I am lost. I will write to him before he has time to see Vera. He must go.
Act 4.
Act 4.
A large unfurnished outer room. The walls are bare. The stone floor is uneven. The ceiling is supported by 6 brick columns, 3 on each side, covered with whitewash, which is peeling off. On left, 2 open windows and a door into the garden. On right, a door into the corridor leading to the main building. In center, an iron door opening into the storeroom. Near first columns on right, green garden seat and corner spades, watering cans and flower pots. Evening. The red rays of the sun fall through the windows on the floor.
No, he's not to be seen. They told me he'd gone into the conservatory. I suppose he hasn't come out yet. Well, I'll wait till he comes by. There's no other way he can go. They say he's going away. However shall we get on without him? Poor young lady, how she did beseech me. And why should I oblige her? Let him have a last talk with her. How warm it is today, and I believe it's beginning to spot with rain. Oh, surely they're not coming in here. They are. Oh, my gracious.
Oh, we can shelter in here from the rain. It will soon be over.
You like?
What is this building? A storehouse or what?
No, the storeroom's there. This room, I'm told, Arkadi Sergeyevich's father built when he came back from abroad.
Oh, I see the idea. Venice, if you please. Let's sit down. You must confess, Lizaveta Bogdanovna, the rain has come in an unlucky moment. It has interrupted our talk at the most touching point.
Ignatiy Ilyich.
But there's nobody to hinder our beginning again. You say, by the way, that Anna Semyonovna is out of humor today?
Yes, she's put out. She actually did not come down to dinner, but had it in her room.
You don't say so. What a calamity, upon my word.
She came upon Natalya Petrovna in tears this morning with Mikhail Aleksandrovich. Of course, he's almost like one of the family, but still. However, Mikhail Aleksandrovich has promised to explain it.
Ah, well, she need not worry herself. Mikhail Alexandrovich has never, to my thinking, been a dangerous person, and now he's less so than ever.
Why?
Oh, he talks a bit too cleverly. Where other people would come out in a rash, they work it all off in talk. Don't be afraid of chatterers in future, Lizaveta Bogdanovna. They're not dangerous. It's these silent men, slow in the uptake, with no end of temperament and thick necks, who are dangerous.
Tell me, is Natalya Petrovna really ill?
She's no more ill than you or I.
She ate nothing at dinner.
Illness isn't the only thing that spoils the appetite.
Did you dine at the Bolshintsovs?
Yes, I went to see him, and it's only on your account that I came back here, upon my soul.
Oh, nonsense. And do you know, Ignatiy Ilyich, Natalya Petrovna is cross with you. She said something not very complimentary about you at dinner.
Really? Ladies don't like us poor fellows to have sharp eyes, it seems. You must do what they want. You must help them, and you must pretend not to know what they're up to. A pretty set, but we shall see. And Rakitin, I dare say, looked rather in the dumps too?
Yes, he too seemed, as it were, out of sorts.
And Vera Alexandrovna and Belyaev?
Everyone, absolutely everyone seemed depressed. I really can't imagine what the matters with all of them today.
If you know too much, you'll grow old before your time, Lizaveta Bogdanovna. But never mind them. We had better talk of our affairs. It hasn't left off, shall we?
What are you asking me, Ignatiy Ilyich?
Oh, Lizaveta Bogdanovna, if you'll allow me to say so, there's no need to put on airs and to drop your eyes like that. We're not young people, you know. These performances, these sighs and soft nothings, they don't suit us. Let us talk calmly, practically, as it is proper for people of our years. And so, this is the question. We like each other, at least I presume you like me.
Ignatiy Ilyich, really?
Oh, all right, very well. After all, perhaps airs and graces are only proper in a lady. So then, we like each other, and in other respects, we are well matched. Of course, I am bound to say about myself that I am not a man of good family. Well, you're not of illustrious birth either. I'm not a rich man. If I were, I shouldn't be where I am. But I've a decent practice. Not all my patients die. You have, as you say, 15,000 rubles of your own, and that's not at all bad, you see. At the same time, you're tired, I imagine, of living forever as a governess and then fussing around an old lady, backing her up at preference and falling in with her whims isn't much fun, I should say. On my side, it's not so much that I'm weary of a bachelor life, but I'm growing old, and then my cooks rob me. So you see, it all fits nicely. But here's the difficulty, Lizaveta Bogdanovna. We don't know each other all that well. That is, to be exact, you don't know me. I know you well enough. I understand your character. I don't say you have no faults. Being a spinster, you're a little old maidish, but that's no harm. In the hands of a good husband, a wife is soft as wax. But I should like you to know me before marriage, or else you'll maybe blame me afterwards. I don't want to deceive you.
But Ignatiy Ilyich, I believe I too have had opportunities of discovering your character.
You? Oh, nonsense. That's not a woman's job. Why, I dare say you imagine I'm a man of cheerful disposition, an amusing fellow, don't you?
I have always thought you a very amiable person.
Ah, there you are. You see how easily one may be mistaken. Because I play the fool before outsiders, tell them anecdotes and humor them, you imagine that I'm really a light-hearted man. If I didn't need these people, I shouldn't even look at them. As it is, whenever I can, without much danger, you know, I turn them into ridicule. I don't deceive myself, though. I'm well aware that certain gentry who can't take a step without me and are bored when I'm not there consider themselves entitled to look down on me. But I pay them out, you may be sure. Natalya Petrovna, for instance. Do you suppose I don't see through her? Dear doctor, I really like you so much. You have such a wicked tongue. Ha ha, cool away. My dove, cool away. Ugh, these ladies. And they smile and make eyes at you while disdain is written on their faces. They despise us. Do what you will. I quite understand why she is saying harsh things of me today. Upon my soul, these ladies are wonderful people because they sprinkle themselves with eau de cologne every day and speak so carelessly, as though they were just dropping their words for you to pick them up. They fancy there's no catching them by the tail. Oh, isn't there, though? They're just mortals, the same as all of us poor sinners.
Ignatiy Ilyich, you surprise me.
I knew I should surprise you. So you see, I'm not a lighthearted man at all, and not too good-natured even. But at the same time, I don't want to make myself out what I have never been, though I may put it on a bit before the gentry. No one's ever seen me play the fool in a low way. No one's ever dared to take insulting liberties with me. Indeed, I think they're a bit afraid of me. In fact, they know I bite. On one occasion, 3 years ago, a gentleman, a regular son of the soil, by way of fun at the dinner table, stuck a radish in my hair. What do you think I did? Why, on the spot, without any show of anger, in the most courteous manner, I challenged him to a duel. The son of the soil almost had a stroke. He was so terrified. Our host made him apologize. It made a great sensation. As a matter of fact, I knew beforehand that he wouldn't fight. So you see, Lizaveta Bogdanovna, my vanity's immense, but my life's not been much. My talents are not great either. I got through my studies somehow. I'm not much good as a doctor. It's no use my pretending to you, and if you've ever taken ill, I shan't prescribe for you myself. If I'd had talent and a good education, I should have bolted to the capital. For the aborigines here, no better doctor is wanted, to be sure. As regards my personal character, Lizaveta Bogdanovna, I ought to warn you. At home, I'm ill-humored, silent, and exacting. I'm not cross as long as everything's done for me to my satisfaction. I like to be well fed and to have my habits respected. However, I'm not jealous and I'm not mean, and in my absence, you can do just as you like. Of romantic love and all that between us, you understand it's needless to speak. And yet, I imagine one might live under the same roof with me so long as you try to please me and don't shed tears in my presence that I can't endure. But I'm not given to fault finding. There, you have my confession. What do you say now?
What am I to say to you, Ignatiy Ilyich? If you have not been blackening your character on purpose to...
But how have I blackened my character? Don't forget that another man in my place would, with perfect complacency, have kept quiet about his faults, as you've not noticed them, and after the wedding, it's all up then, it's too late. But I'm too proud to do that. Yes, too proud. You needn't look at me like that. I don't mean to pose and lie before my future wife, not if it were for 100,000 instead of 15,000. Though to a stranger, I'm ready to humble myself for a sack of flour. I'm like that. I'll smirk to a stranger while inwardly I'm thinking, you're a blockhead, my friend. You'll be caught by my bait. But with you, I say what I think. That is, let me explain. I don't say everything I think, even to you. But at any rate, I'm not deceiving you. I must strike you as a very queer fish, certainly. But there, wait a bit. One day I'll tell you the story of my life and you'll wonder that I've come through it as well as I have. You weren't born with a silver spoon in your mouth, I expect, either, but yet, my dear, you can't conceive what real hopeless poverty is like. I'll tell you all about that, though, some other time. But now you had better think over the proposition I have had the honor of laying before you. Consider this little matter, well, in solitude, and let me know your decision. So far as I can judge, you're a sensible woman. And by the way, how old are you?
I'm 30.
And that's not quite true. You're quite 40.
I am not 40. I'm only 36.
Well, that's not 30 anyway. Well, Lizaveta Bogdanovna, that's a habit you must get out of, especially as 36 isn't old for a married woman. And you shouldn't take snuff either. I fancy the rain has stopped.
Yes, it has.
So you'll give me an answer in a day or two?
I will tell you my decision tomorrow.
Now I like that. That's really sensible. Bravo. Lizaveta Bogdanovna, come give me your arm. Let us go indoors.
Let us go.
And by the way, I haven't kissed your hand, and I believe it's what's done. Well, for once, here goes. Mwah! That's right.
So you think, Ignatiy Ilyich, that Mikhail Alexandrovich is really not a dangerous man?
I think not.
Do you know what, Ignatiy Ilyich? I fancy that for some time past Natalya Petrovna, I fancy that Mr. Belyaev, she takes a good deal of notice of him, doesn't she? And Verochka, too. What do you think? Isn't that why today...
There's one other thing I've forgotten to tell you, Lizaveta Bogdanovna. I'm awfully inquisitive myself, but I can't endure inquisitive women. That is, I'll explain. To my thinking, a wife ought to be inquisitive and observant only with other people. Indeed, it's an advantage to her husband. You understand me, with others only. However, if you really want to know my opinion concerning Natalya Petrovna, Vera Aleksandrovna, Mr. Belyaev, and the folks here generally, listen, and I'll sing you a little song. I have a horrible voice, but you mustn't mind that.
A song?
Listen, the first verse. Granny had a little kid, Granny had a little kid, a little gray kid. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. The second verse. The kid would in the forest play. The kid would in the forest play. Yes, I say, he would in the forest play.
But I don't understand.
Listen then, the third verse. The gray wolves ate that little kid. The gray wolves ate that little kid. They ate him up. They ate him up. Yes, I say, they ate him up. And now let us go. I must have a talk with Natalya Petrovna, by the way. Let us hope she won't bite me. If I'm not mistaken, she still has need of me. How long?
They've gone at last. What a spiteful man that doctor is. Talked, and what didn't he say? And what a way to sing. Oh, I'm afraid Aleksei Nikolayevich may have gone back indoors meanwhile. Why on earth need they come in here? So, Lizaveta Bogdanovna is to be the doctor's wife. So that's it. Well, I don't envy her. Oh, the grass looks as though it had been washed. What a nice smell. It's the wild cherry. Oh, here he comes. Aleksei Nikolayevich! Aleksei Nikolayevich!
Who's calling me? Oh, it's you, Katya. What do you want?
Come in here. I've something to say to you.
Oh, very well. Here I am.
Aren't you wet?
No, I've been sitting in the greenhouse with Potat. He's your uncle, isn't he?
Yes, he's my uncle.
How pretty you are today. Would you like this peach?
Thank you very much. Eat it yourself.
I didn't refuse your raspberries when you gave me some yesterday. I'll take it. I picked it for you, really.
Oh, thank you very much.
That's all right. What did you want to tell me?
My young lady, Vera Aleksandrovna, asked me, she wants to see you.
Ah, well, I'll go see her. I'll go to her at once.
No, she'll come here. She wants to have a talk with you.
She wants to come here?
Yes, here, you see. Nobody comes in here. You won't be interrupted here. She likes you very much, Aleksei Nikolayevich. She's so kind. I'll go and fetch her. And you'll wait, won't you?
Of course.
In a minute. Aleksei Nikolayevich, is it true what they are saying, that you are leaving us?
No, who told you so?
So you're not going away? Oh, thank goodness. We'll be back in a minute.
How strange it all is. Strange things are happening to me. I must say I never expected all this. Vera loves me. Natalya Petrovna knows it. Vera has confessed it herself. Extraordinary. Vera. Such a sweet, dear child, but what's the meaning of this note? From Natalya Petrovna in pencil. Don't go away. Don't decide on anything till I have had a talk with you. What does she want to talk about? Such idiotic ideas come into my head. I must say this is all very embarrassing. If anybody had told me a month ago that I simply can't get over that conversation with Natalya Petrovna. Oh my God, why is my heart throbbing like this? And now Vera wants to see me? What am I going to say to her? Anyway, I shall find out what's the matter. Or perhaps Natalya Petrovna is angry with me, but whatever for? Oh, it is all queer. It's very, very queer.
The door is opened softly. He quickly hides the note. Vera and Katya appear in the doorway. He goes up to them. Vera is very pale. She does not raise her eyes nor move from the spot.
Don't be afraid, miss. Go up to him. I'll be on the lookout. Don't be afraid. Oh, Aleksei Nikolayevich.
Vera Aleksandrovna, you wanted to see me? Come here, sit down here. That's it. You've been crying.
That doesn't matter. I've come to beg you to forgive me, Aleksei Nikolayevich.
What for?
I heard you have had an unpleasant interview with Natalya Petrovna. You're being sent away.
Who told you that?
Natalya Petrovna herself. I met her just after you had been with her. She told me you yourself are willing to stay, but I believe you're being sent away.
Tell me, do they know this in this house?
No, only Katya knows. I had to tell her. I wanted to see you, to beg you to forgive me. Imagine now how wretched I must be. I am the cause of it, Aleksei Nikolayevich. It's all my fault.
Your fault, Vera Aleksandrovna?
I never could have thought, Natalya Petrovna, but I don't blame her. Don't you blame her either. This morning, I was a silly child, but now...
Well, nothing is settled yet, Vera Aleksandrovna. I may be staying.
You say nothing is settled yet, Aleksei Nikolayevich. No, everything is settled. Everything is over. See how you are with me now? And remember, only yesterday in the garden. Oh, I see. Natalya Petrovna has told you everything.
Vera Aleksandrovna,
She has told you, I see it. She tried to catch me, and I, like a silly, fell into her trap. But she betrayed herself too. I'm not such a child. Oh, no.
What do you mean?
Aleksei Nikolayevich, did you really want to leave us yourself?
Yes.
Why? You don't answer.
Vera Aleksandrovna, you are not mistaken. Natalya Petrovna told me everything.
What, for instance?
Vera Aleksandrovna, I really can't. You understand.
She told you perhaps that I love you?
Yes.
But it's untrue.
What?
Anyway, I didn't tell her that. I don't remember. Oh, how cruelly she has treated me. And you meant to go away because of that?
Vera Aleksandrovna, only consider...
She does not love me.
Vera Aleksandrovna, give me your hand. Now listen, there must not be misunderstandings between us. I love you as a sister. I love you because no one could help loving you. Now forgive me if I've never in my life been in such a position. I can't bear to wound you, but I'm not going to pretend with you. I know that you like me, that you've grown fond of me, but think what can come of it. I haven't a farthing. Please don't be angry with me. I really don't know what to say.
And as though I expected anything. My God, but why so cruelly, so heartlessly?
Vera Aleksandrovna, I didn't mean to hurt you.
I'm not blaming you, Aleksei Nikolayevich. How are you to blame? It's all my fault. And how am I punished? I don't blame her either. I know she's a kind-hearted woman, but she couldn't help herself. She didn't know what she was doing.
Didn't know what she was doing?
Natalya Petrovna loves you, Belyaev.
What?
She's in love with you.
What are you saying?
I know what I'm saying. Today has made me years older. I'm not a child now, believe me. She was actually jealous of me. What do you think of that?
But it's impossible.
Impossible? Then Why has she suddenly taken it into her head to marry me to that gentleman, what's his name, Bolshintsov? Why did she send me the doctor to me? Why did she try to persuade me to it herself? Oh, I know what I'm saying. If you could have seen Belyaev, how her whole face changed when I told her. Oh, you can't imagine how cunningly, how treacherously she trapped me into admitting it. Yes, she's in love with you. It's only too evident.
Vera Alexandrovna, you are mistaken, I assure you.
No, I'm not mistaken. I tell you, I'm not mistaken. If she doesn't love you, why has she tortured me like this? What have I done to her? Jealousy is an excuse for anything. But what's the good of talking? And now why is she sending you away? She imagines that we... Oh, she need not worry herself. You can stay.
She hasn't sent me away so far, Vera Alexandrovna, and as I've told you already, nothing is decided yet.
Really?
Yes. Why do you look at me like that?
Oh, I see. Yes, yes. She is still hoping.
The door into the corridor is quickly opened and Natalya Petrovna appears in the doorway. She stops short on seeing Vera and Belyaev.
What did you say?
Yes, now it's all clear to me. She has thought better of it. She sees I'm no danger to her. And indeed, what am I? A silly girl. And while she...
Vera Alexandrovna, how can you imagine?
But who knows? Perhaps she's right. Perhaps you love her. Yes, you. Why are you blushing?
Me? Blushing?
You like her. You may come to love her. You don't answer my question.
Lord, what do you want me to say? Vera Alexandrovna, you're just so excited. Just do be calm, for goodness sake.
Oh, you treat me as a child. You don't deign to give me a serious answer. You simply want to get rid of me. You try to comfort me. Natalya Petrovna.
Yes, I'm here. I came for you, Verochka.
What made you come here? So you've been looking for me?
Yes, I've been looking for you. You're indiscreet, Verochka. I've spoken of it more than once. And you, Aleksei Nikolayevich, you've forgotten your promise. You deceived me.
Oh, stop that, Natalya Petrovna. Leave off, do. Give up speaking to me as though I were a child. From today, I am a woman. I am as much a woman as you are.
Vera.
He hasn't deceived you. Our meeting here is not his doing. He doesn't care for me. You know that. You need not need to be jealous.
Vera!
It's the truth. Don't go on pretending. These pretenses are no use now. I see through them, I can assure you. To you, I am not the ward you're watching over, like an elder sister. I'm your rival.
Vera, you forget yourself.
Perhaps, but who has driven me to it? I don't understand what has given me courage to speak to you like this. Perhaps it's because I have nothing to hope for, because it has pleased you to trample upon me. And you have succeeded completely. But let me tell you, I don't mean to be as underhand with you as you have been with me. I'll let you know I've told him everything.
What could you tell him?
What? Why, everything I've noticed. You hoped to worm everything out of me without betraying yourself. You made a mistake, Natalya Petrovna. You overrated your self-control.
Vera, think what you're saying.
Tell me that I am wrong. Tell me that you're not in love with him. He has told me that he doesn't love me. Natalya Petrovna, forgive me. I don't know what's come over me. Forgive me. Don't be hard on me.
I can assure you, Natalya Petrovna.
Stop, Aleksei Nikolayevich. The truth is, Vera is right. It's time I laid aside deceit. I have wronged her and you. You have a right to despise me. I am degraded in my own eyes. The only way left for me to regain your respect is openness, complete openness, whatever the consequences. Besides, I am seeing you for the last time. For the last time, I am speaking to you. I love you.
You, Natalya Petrovna?
Yes, I love you. Vera was not deceived and has not deceived you. I have loved you from the very day you arrived here, but I only recognized it yesterday. I don't mean to justify my conduct. It has been unworthy of me, but anyway, you can understand now. You can make allowances for me. Yes, I was jealous of Vera. Yes, I was planning to marry her to Bolshintsov, so as to get her away from you and from myself. Yes, I took advantage of my position, of my being older, to find out her secret. And of course, I didn't reckon on that. I betrayed myself. I love you, Belyaev, but I let me say, it's only pride that forces me to confess it. The farce I have been playing revolts me at last. You cannot stay here. Indeed, after what I have just told you, you will no doubt feel very awkward in my company, and you will want to get away as quickly as possible. I am certain of that. It is that certainty has given me courage. I confess I shouldn't like you to think badly of me. Now you know everything. Perhaps I've spoiled things for you. Perhaps if all this had not happened, you might have cared for Verochka. I have only one plea to urge, Aleksei Nikolayevich. It has all been beyond my control. You don't answer me. But I understand that. There's nothing for you to say to me. The position of a man receiving a declaration of love when he feels no love is too painful. I thank you for that silence. Believe me, when I told you I love you, I was not pretending as before. I was not counting on anything. On the contrary, I want at last to throw off the mask, which I can assure you I am not used to wearing. And indeed, what's the use of affectation and duplicity when everything is known? Why pretend when there's no one to deceive? Everything is over between us now. I will not keep you. You can go away without saying another word to me, without taking leave of me. I shall not think it discourteous. I shall be grateful to you. There are circumstances in which delicacy is out of place, worse than rudeness. It seems we were not destined to know each other better. Goodbye. Yes, we were not destined to know each other, but at least I hope that now you no longer look on me as an oppressor, a furtive and deceitful creature. Goodbye. Forever. You're not going?
No, I can't go. I can't go away like this. Natalya Petrovna, what you just said just now, you didn't want me to carry away unpleasant memories of you. And I don't want you to think of me as a man who, oh dear, I don't know how to say it, Natalya Petrovna, but I'm sorry. I just don't know how to talk to women like you. See, up to now, I've only known quite ordinary women. I mean, you said that we were not destined to be friends, but good God, how could an ordinary, almost uneducated fellow like me ever dream of being anything to you? I mean, think of what you are and what I am. Think, could I dare to dream with your bringing up? But why talk of that? Just look at me, at this old coat and your sweet scented clothes. Oh, God. Yes, I was afraid of you, and I'm afraid of you still. And I thought of you without any exaggeration as a being of higher order. And now you tell me that you love me? You, Natalya Petrovna, me? Man, I feel my heart beating as it never has in my entire life. But it's not beating merely from amazement. It's not that my vanity is flattered. No, indeed, vanity doesn't come into this now. But I can't go away like this. And say what you like.
What have I done?
Natalya Petrovna, for God's sake, I assure you.
Aleksei Nikolayevich, if I did not know you are an honest man and incapable of deceit, God knows what I should think. I might regret having spoken, but I trust you. I don't want to hide my feelings from you. I'm grateful for what you have just said. Now I know why we have not been friends. So it was nothing in me myself that repelled you, only my position. It's all the best, of course, but now it will be easier for me to part from you. Goodbye.
Natalya Petrovna, I know that it is impossible for me to stay here, but I can't tell you what's going on in me. You love me? And I'm positively terrified to utter those words. It's just all so new to me. It seems as though I'm seeing you for the first time. I'm hearing you for the first time, but I feel one thing. I must go. I feel I can't answer for anything.
Yes, Belyaev, you must go. Now, after what you have said, you can go. And can it be really in spite of all I have done? Oh, believe me, if I had the remotest suspicion of all you have just told me, that confession would have died in me, Belyaev. I only meant to put an end to all the misunderstandings. I meant to expiate, to punish myself. I meant to cut the last thread. I could have imagined.
I do believe you, Natalya Petrovna, I do. And I too, a quarter of an hour ago, could I have imagined? And it's only today, during our interview before dinner, that I felt for the first time something extraordinary, incredible, as though a hand had squeezed my heart in such a burning ache. See, it's true that before then I had more or less avoided you and even not liked you particularly. But when you told me today that Vera Aleksandrovna fancied...
Hush, Belyaev, we must not think of that. We must not forget that we are speaking to each other for the last time, that you are going tomorrow.
Yes, I will go tomorrow. Now I can go, and all this will pass. You see, I don't want to exaggerate. I'm going to take what God gives. I shall take with me a memory. I shall never forget that you cared for me. But how was it that I didn't know you till now? And here you are looking at me now. Can I have ever tried to avoid your eyes? Can I ever have felt shy with you?
You said just now that you're afraid of me.
Did I? Really? I wonder at myself, is it I talking so boldly to you? I don't know myself.
And you're not deceiving yourself.
How?
In thinking that you... Oh, God, what am I doing? Belyaev, help me. No woman has ever been in such a position. It's more than I can bear, and indeed, perhaps it's for the best. Everything has ended at once, but anyway, we have come to know each other. Give me your hand, and goodbye forever.
Natalya Petrovna, I don't know what to say at parting, but my heart is so full. God give you goodbye.
Belyaev?
Natalya Petrovna?
Stay?
What?
Stay. And may God be our judge.
Natalya Petrovna!
At that instant, the garden door opens and Rakitin appears in the doorway. He gazes at them for some time, then and goes suddenly up to them.
They are looking for you everywhere, Natalya Petrovna.
It's you. Who's looking for me? Are you going? Aleksei Nikolayevich, don't forget, you know what?
Katie is looking for you. I must say I didn't expect to find you here, but as I passed by...
You heard our voices. I met Aleksei Nikolayevich here and have had a complete explanation from him. Today seems a day of explanations. But now we can go into the house.
May I ask, what decision?
Decision? I don't understand you.
If that's so, I understand.
Well, there it is. Mysterious hints again. Oh, well, I have spoken to him, and now everything is set right. It was all nonsense, exaggeration. All you and I talked about was childish. It must be forgotten now.
I am not asking you for explanations, Natalya Petrovna.
What on earth was it I wanted to say to you? I don't remember. Never mind, let's go. It's all at an end. It's over.
Yes, it's all at an end. How vexed you must be with yourself now for your openness this morning.
Rakitin, you've not spoken to Arkady yet.
No, I haven't thought of anything yet. You see, I must make up some story.
How insufferable it is. What do they want of me? I'm followed about at every step I take. Rakitin, I'm really conscience-stricken that you should...
Oh, Natalya Petrovna, pray don't distress yourself. Why, it's all in the natural order of things. But how obviously this is Mr. Belyaev's first experience. Why was he so embarrassed? Why did he take to flight? But with time, you will both learn to keep up appearances. Let us go.
To be sure, here he is. Well. And Natalya Petrovna, too. How's this? The continuation of this morning's talk? It's evidently an important matter.
I met Natalya Petrovna here as I walked.
Met her? What a queer place for a walk.
Well, you've walked in too.
I came in because...
You were looking for me?
Yes, I was looking for you. Won't you come into the house? Tea's ready. It will soon be dark.
Come along.
This place might be turned into 2 good rooms for the gardeners or another servant's hall. Don't you think, Shpigelsky?
To be sure it could.
Let us go by the garden, Natasha. Well, gentlemen, let us go into tea.
Well, Mikhail Alexandrovich, come along. Give me your arm. It's clear we are destined to follow in the rear.
Oh, doctor, I'm sick of you.
Ha ha, Mikhail Alexandrovich. If you only know how sick I am of myself. Come along, come along.
They go out into the garden. Act 5.
The
scene is the same as in the first and third acts. Morning, Islayev is sitting at the table, looking through the papers. He suddenly jumps up. No, impossible. I can't work today. I can't get it out of my mind. I confess I didn't expect this. I didn't expect I should be so upset as I am now. How is one to act? That's the problem. Matvei!
Yes, sir.
Send the bailiff to me. And tell the men digging at the dam to wait for me. Run along.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it's a problem.
Arkasha,
Ah, it's you, Mama. How are you this morning?
I'm quite well. Thank God, I'm quite well. Thank God.
You're sighing. What's the matter?
Oh, Arkasha, as though you don't know what makes me sigh.
What do you want me to say?
I'm your mother, Arkasha. Of course, you are a man, grown up and sensible, but still, I am your mother. It's a great word, mother.
Please explain.
You know what I am hinting at, my dear. Your wife, Natasha, of course, she's an excellent woman, and her conduct hitherto has been most exemplary. But she is still so young, Arkasha, and youth.
I see what you want to say. You fancy her relations with Rakitin.
God forbid. I never thought of such a thing.
You didn't let me finish. You fancy her relations with Rakitin are not altogether clear. These mysterious conversations, these tears, all strike you as strange.
Well, Arkasha, has he told you at last what their talks were about? He has told me nothing.
I haven't asked him, Mama, and he is apparently in no hurry to satisfy my curiosity.
Then what do you intend to do now?
Do, Mama? Why, nothing.
Nothing?
Why, certainly nothing.
I must say, I am surprised to hear it. Of course, you are master in your own house and know better than I do. But this is for the best. But only think of the consequences.
Really, Mama, there's no need to worry yourself.
My dear, I am a mother. You know best. I must own I came to see whether I could do anything to help.
No, as far as this goes, I must beg you, Mama, not to trouble yourself. Pray don't.
As you wish, Arkasha, as you wish. I won't say another word. I have warned you. I have done my duty. And now I won't open my lips.
Are you going anywhere today?
Only I must warn you. You are too trustful, my dear boy. You judge everybody by yourself. Believe me, true friends are only too rare nowadays.
Mama!
Oh, I will say no more. I will say no more. And what's the use? An old woman like me, in my dotage, I suppose. But I was brought up on a different principles and have tried to instill them in you. There. Go on with your work. I won't interrupt you. I'm going.
Oh, queer that people who really love you have such a passion for poking their fingers into your wounds. And of course, they're convinced it's doing you good. That's what's so funny. I don't blame Mother, though. Of course, she means well. And how could she help giving advice? But that's no matter. How am I to act? Oh, the more simply, the better. Diplomatic subtleties don't suit me. I should be the first to make a muddle of them. Is Mikhail Aleksandrovich at home? Do you know?
Yes, sir. I saw his honor in the billiard room just now.
Ah, well, ask him to come in to me.
Yes, sir.
I'm not used to these upheavals. I hope they won't happen often. Strong as I am, I can't stand them. Ugh.
You sent for me?
Yes. Michel, you know you owe me something.
I owe you?
Why, yes. Have you forgotten your promise about Natasha's tears? And altogether, when my mother and I came upon you, you remember, you told me you had a secret which you would explain.
I said, a secret?
You said so.
What secret could we have? We had a talk.
About what? And why was she crying?
You know, Arkady, there are moments in the life of a woman, even the happiest.
Rakitin, stop. We can't go on like this. I can't bear to see you in such a position. Your confusion distresses me more than it does yourself. We are old friends. You've known me from a child. I don't know how to pretend, and you have always been open with me. Let me put one question to you. I give you my word beforehand that I shall not doubt the sincerity of your answer. You love my wife, don't you? You understand me? You love her as, well, that is, you love her with the sort of love that it's difficult to admit to her husband.
Yes, I love your wife with that sort of love.
Michel, thank you for your frankness. You're an honorable man. But what's to be done now? Sit down, we'll think it over together. I know Natasha. I know how to appreciate her, but I know how much I'm worth myself too. I'm not your equal. Michel, don't interrupt me, please. I'm not your equal. You're cleverer, better, and more attractive. In fact, I'm an ordinary person. Natasha loves me, I think, but she has eyes. Well, of course, she must find you attractive. And there's another thing I must tell you. I noticed your affection for each other long ago. But I was always so sure of you both. And as long as nothing came to the surface, oh, I don't know how to say things. But after the scene yesterday, after your second interview in the evening, what are we to do? And if only I had come upon you alone, but other people are mixed up in it. Mama and that sly fox, Shpigelsky. Come, what do you say, Michel?
You're perfectly right, Arkady.
That's not the point. That's not the point at all. What's to be done? I must tell you, Michel, that though I am a simple person, so much I do understand that it's not the thing to spoil other people's lives, and that there are cases when it's wicked to insist on one's rights that I've not picked out of books, Michel. It's my conscience tells me so. Leave others free. Well, yes, let them be free. Only it wants some thinking over. It's too important.
But I have thought it over already.
How so?
I must go. I'm going away.
You think so? Right away from here altogether?
Yes.
That is a hard saying, but perhaps you are right. We shall miss you dreadfully. God knows it won't mend matters either. But you can see more clearly. You know best. I expect you are right. You're a danger to me, Michelle. Yes, you are. You know what I said just now about freedom? And yet perhaps I couldn't survive it. For me to be without Natasha, and another tiling, Michelle. For some time past, and especially these last few days, I've noticed a great change in her. She's all the time in a state of intense agitation, and I'm alarmed about it. I'm not mistaken, am I?
Oh, no, you're not mistaken.
Well, you see, so you are going away?
Yes.
And how suddenly this has burst on us. If only you had not been so confused when my mother and I came upon you.
The bailiff is here.
Ask him to wait. But, Michelle, you won't be away for long. That's nonsense.
I don't know, really. A good time, I expect.
But you don't take me for an Othello, do you? Upon my word, I don't believe there has been such a conversation between two friends since the world began. I can't part from you like this.
You let me know when I can come back.
Oh, there's nobody who can fill your place here. Huh, not Bolshintsov, anyway.
There are others.
Who? Krenitsyn, that conceited fool? Belyaev, of course, is a good-natured lad, but you can't speak of him in the same breath.
Do you think so? You don't know him, Arkady. Look at him more attentively, I advise you. Do you hear? He's a very, very remarkable fellow.
Pooh, to be sure, Natasha and you were always meaning to finish his education. Here he is coming here, I do believe. And so, dear Michelle, it's settled. You're going away for a short time, some days. No need to hurry. We must prepare Natasha. I'll soothe my mother. And God give you happiness. You've lifted a load off my heart. Embrace me, dear boy. Ah, it's you. Well, how are you?
Very well, thank you, Arkady Sergeyevich.
And where's Kolya?
He's with Herr Schaaf.
Ah, that's right. Well, I must be off, my friends. I've not been anywhere this morning, neither to the dam nor the building. Here, I've not even looked through my papers. Goodbye for now. Matvei, come with me.
How are you feeling this morning, Mikhail Alexandrovich?
Thank you, just as usual. And you?
I'm quite well.
Yeah, that's obvious.
How so?
Why, from your face. And oh, you've put on your new coat this morning. And what do I see? A flower in your buttonhole. Oh, why? It's charming. By the way, Aleksei Nikolayevich, if there's anything you want, I'm going to the town tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yes, and from there on to Moscow, perhaps.
To Moscow? But why, only yesterday you said that you meant to be here another month or so.
Yes, but business. Things have turned up.
And shall you be away for long?
I don't know. A long time, perhaps.
Do you mind telling me, does Natalya Petrovna know of your intention?
No. Why do you ask me about
Why?
her?
Oh, nothing.
Aleksei Nikolayevich, there's nobody in the room but ourselves. Isn't it queer that we should keep up a farce before each other? Don't you think so?
I don't understand you, Mikhail
Oh,
Alexandrovich.
you don't. Do you really not understand why I'm going away?
No.
That's strange. However, I'm willing to believe you. Perhaps you really don't know the reason. Would you like me to tell you why I'm going?
Please do.
Well, you see, Aleksei Nikolayevich, but I rely on your discretion. You found me just now with Arkadi Sergeyevich. We have had a rather important conversation, in consequence of which I have decided to depart. And do you know why? I'm telling you all this because I think you are a really good fellow. He imagined that that I'm in love with Natalya Petrovna. What do you think of that? It's a queer notion, isn't it? But I am grateful to him for speaking to me simply straight out instead of being underhand, keeping watch on us and all that. Come, tell me now, what would you have done in my place? Of course, there are no grounds at all for his suspicions. Still, for the peace of mind of his friends, a decent man must be ready at times to sacrifice his own pleasure. So that's why I'm going away. I'm sure you think I'm right, don't you? You too. You would certainly do the same in my place, wouldn't you? You would go away too.
Perhaps.
I'm very glad to hear that. Of course, I can't deny that my making off has its comic side. It's as though I imagine I'm dangerous. But you see, Aleksei Nikolayevich, a woman's honor is such an important thing. And at the same time, of course, I can't say this of Natalya Petrovna, but I have known women pure and innocent at heart, perfect children for all their cleverness, who just through their very purity and innocence are more apt than others to give way to sudden passion. And so, who knows? One can't be too discreet in such cases, especially as, by the way, Aleksei Nikolayevich, you may perhaps still imagine that love is the greatest bliss on earth.
I've had no experience, but imagine that to be loved by a woman one loves is a great happiness.
God grant you long preserve such pleasant convictions. It's my belief, Aleksei Nikolayevich, that love of every kind, happy as much as unhappy, is a real calamity if you give yourself up to it completely. Wait a bit. You may learn yet how those soft little hands can torture you, with what sweet solicitude they can tear your heart to rags. Wait a bit. You will learn what burning hatred lies hidden underneath the most ardent love. You will think of me when you yearn for peace, for the dullest, most commonplace peace, as a sick man yearns for health, when you will envy any man who is free and light-hearted. You wait. You will know what it means to be tied to a petticoat, to be enslaved and poisoned. How shameless and agonizing that slavery is. You will learn at last how little you get for all your sufferings. But why am I saying all this to you? You won't believe me now. The fact is that I am very glad of your approval. Yes, yes. In such cases, one ought to be
Thanks for the
careful.
lesson, Mikhail Alexandrovich, though I didn't need it.
Please forgive me. I had no intention. It's not for me to give lessons to anyone, whatever. I was just talking.
Not apropos of anything.
Just so, not apropos of anything particular. I only meant you haven't hitherto had occasion, Aleksei Nikolayevich, to study women. Women are peculiar creatures.
But of whom are you speaking?
Oh, no one in
Oh,
particular.
of women in general.
Yes, perhaps. I really don't know what business I have to adopt this lecturing tone, but do let me at parting give you this one piece of advice. But there, I'm not the man to give anyone advice. Please forgive my running
not
on
at
like
all.
this. So you don't want anything
Nothing.
in the town?
Thank you, but I'm sorry you're going away.
Thanks very much. So am I can assure you.
Natalya Petrovna
I'm
and
very
Vera.
glad-
And Vera come in from the study. Vera is very sad and pale.
I'm very glad to have made your acquaintance.
Good morning.
Good morning, Natalya Petrovna. Good morning, Vera Alexandrovna.
What are you doing this morning?
Oh, nothing.
Vera and I have been walking in the garden. It's a lovely day. The scent of the lime trees is so delicious. We've been walking under the lime trees. It's delightful to listen to the humming of the bees in the shade overhead. We expected to meet you there.
Ah, you too can admire the beauties of nature today. Aleksei Nikolayevich couldn't go into the garden. He has got his new coat on.
Of course, it's the only one I have, and I dare say it might get torn in the garden. I suppose that's what you mean?
Oh, no, I didn't mean that. I've forgotten to tell you, Natalya Petrovna. I'm going away today.
Going? Where?
To the town on business.
Not for long, I hope.
That's as my business goes.
Mind you, come back as soon as you can. Aleksei Nikolayevich, was it your sketches Kolya was showing me? Did you draw them?
Yes, they're nothing much.
Oh, not at all. They are very charming. You have talent.
I see you are discovering new talents in Mr. Belyaev every day.
Perhaps so much the better for him. I expect you have some other sketches. You must show them to me.
But I remember it's time to pack. Goodbye.
But you'll come to say goodbye to us.
Of course.
Mikhail Alexandrovich, wait a minute. I'm coming with you. I must have a few words with you.
Ah.
Vera.
What is it?
Vera, for goodness sake, don't treat me like this. For goodness sake. Vera. Verochka. Vera. Forgive me. Don't cry, Vera. I behaved badly to you. I am to blame. Can you forgive me?
Get up, get up.
I won't get up, Vera, till you forgive me. It's hard for you, but think, is it any easier for me? Think, Vera, you know everything. The only difference between us is that you have done no wrong, while I...
That's all the difference. No, Natalya Petrovna. There is another difference between us. You're so soft, so kind, so warm this morning.
Because I feel how wrong I've been.
Really? Is it only that?
Well, what other reason can there be?
Natalya Petrovna, don't torture me anymore. Don't ask me questions.
Vera, I see you can't forgive me.
You're so kind and so soft today because you feel you're loved.
Vera?
Well, isn't it the truth?
I assure you, we are both equally unhappy.
He loves you.
Vera, why do we torture each other? It's time for both of us to think what we are doing. Remember the position I'm in, the position we are both in. Remember that our secret, though my fault, of course, is known to two men already. Vera, instead of tormenting each other with suspicions and reproaches, hadn't we better consider together how to get out of this dreadful position, how to save ourselves? Do you imagine I can stand these shocks and agitations? Have you forgotten who I am? But you're not listening.
He loves you.
Vera, he's going away.
Oh, leave me alone.
Natasha! Natasha, where are you?
I'm here. What is it?
Come here. I have something to tell you.
In a minute.
I lost her, and I must stay in her house. Oh, it's too much.
Alexandrovna, Vera Alexandrovna.
Who is it? You, doctor.
What is it, my young lady? Not well or what?
Oh, nothing.
Let me feel your pulse. Why is it so quick? Ah, young lady, you won't listen to me, and yet it's your welfare I wish for.
Ignatiy Ilyich.
Ah, I'm all ears, Vera Alexandrovna. What a look, upon my word, I'm all ears.
That gentleman, Bolshintsov, your friend, is he really a good man?
My friend Bolshintsov? The most excellent, the best of men, a pattern and paragon of all the virtues.
He's not ill-natured?
Most kind-hearted, upon my soul. He's not a man, he's made of dough, really. You've only to take him and mold him. You wouldn't find another such good fellow if you searched with candle by daylight. He's a dove, not a man.
You answer for him?
As I would for myself.
Then you can tell him that I'm willing to marry him.
You don't say so.
But as soon as possible, do you hear? As soon as possible.
Tomorrow, if you'd like. I should rather think so. Bravo, Vera Alexandrovna. You're a young lady of spirit. I'll gallop over to him at once. Won't he be overjoyed? Well, this is an unexpected turn of affairs. Why, he worships the ground you tread on, Vera Alexandrovna.
I didn't ask you that, Ignatiy Ilyich.
As you please, Vera Alexandrovna, as you please. Only you'll be happy with him. You'll be grateful to me. You'll see. There, I'll hold my tongue. So then I can tell him?
Yes, you can.
Very good. So I'll set off at once. Goodbye. Oh, and listen, there's someone coming, by the way. Goodbye for the present.
Anything in the world is better than staying here. Yes, I have made up my mind. I won't stop in this house. Not for anything. I can't endure her soft looks, her smiles. I can't bear the sight of her, basking and purring in her happiness. She's happy. However, she pretends to be sad and sorrowful. Her caresses are unbearable.
Vera Alexandrovna, you're alone?
Yes.
I'm glad to find you alone. I should not have come in here otherwise. Vera Alexandrovna, I've come to say goodbye to you.
Goodbye?
Yes, I'm going away.
You're going away? You too?
Yes, I too. You see, Vera Alexandrovna, I can't stay here. I've done too much harm here already. Apart from my having, I don't know how, disturbed your peace of mind and Natalya Petrovna's, I've broken up old friendships. And thanks to me, Mr. Rakitin is leaving this house, and you have quarreled with your benefactress. It's time to put a stop to it all. After I am gone, I hope that everything will settle down and be right again. Turning rich women's heads and breaking young girls' hearts is not in my line. And you will forget about me, and in time perhaps will wonder how all this could have happened. I wonder even now, and I don't want to deceive you, Vera Alexandrovna. I'm frightened. I'm terrified of staying here, and I can't answer for anything. And you know, I'm not used to all this. I feel awkward. I feel as though everybody's looking at me. And in fact, it would be impossible for me now with you both.
Oh, don't trouble yourself on my account. I'm not staying here long.
What do you mean?
That's my secret. But I shan't be in your way, I assure you.
Oh, but you see, I must go. You'd think. I seem to have brought a plague into this house. Everyone is running away. Isn't it better for me to disappear before more harm's done? I might have just had a great talk with Mr. Rakitin. You can't imagine how bitterly he spoke, and he might as well jeer at my new coat because he's right. Yes, I must go. Would you believe it, Vera Alexandrovna? I am longing for the minute when I shall be racing along the high road in a cart, I'm stifling in here. I want to get out in the open air. I can't tell you how grieved and at the same time lighthearted I feel. Like a man setting off on a long journey overseas. He's sad and sick at parting from his friends, yet the sound of the sea is so joyful and the wind is so fresh on his face that it sets his blood dancing, though his heart may ache. Yes, I'm certainly going. I'll go back to Moscow, to my old companions, and I'll set to work.
You love her, it seems, Aleksei Nikolayevich. You love her, yet you're going away.
Hush, Vera Aleksandrovna, why do you say that? Don't you see that it's all over? It's flared up and has gone out like a spark. Let us part friends. It's time. I've come to my senses. Keep well, be happy, and we shall see each other again someday. I shall never forget you, Vera Aleksandrovna. I am very fond of you, believe me. Give this note to Natalya Petrovna from me.
A note?
Yes. I can't say goodbye to her.
But are you going at once?
Minute. I have not said anything to anybody except Mikhail and Aleksandrovich, and he approves, and I'm going to walk from here to Petrovsko. And then I shall wait for Mikhail Aleksandrovich, and we shall drive on to the town together, and I'll write from there. My things will be sent on after me. You see, it's all settled. But you can read the note. There's only a couple of words in it.
Are you really going?
Yes. Now give her that note and say, no, there's no need to say anything, and what's the use? Here they come. Goodbye.
Verochka? What's the matter? A note? From whom?
Read it.
You frighten me.
Natalya Petrovna.
He's gone. He wouldn't even say goodbye to me. To you, he said goodbye anyway.
He doesn't love me.
But he has no right to go off like this. I will... He can't do this. Who told him he might break away so stupidly? It's simply contempt. How does he know I should never have the courage? My God.
Natalya Petrovna, you told me yourself just now that he must go. Remember?
You are glad now he's gone. Now we're equal.
Natalya Petrovna, you said to me just now, these were your very words. Instead of tormenting each other, hadn't we better think together how to get out of this position, how to save ourselves? We are saved now. I understand, Natalya Petrovna. Don't worry yourself. I shan't burden you with my company long. We can't live together.
Why do you say that, Verochka? Do you too want to leave me? Yes, you are right. We are saved now. All is over. Everything is settled again.
Don't disturb yourself, Natalya Petrovna.
Does she know that he is going?
Yes, she knows.
But why has he been in such a hurry? Natasha. It's I, Natasha. You're not well, my darling. I should advise you to lie down, really.
I'm quite well, Arkady. It's nothing.
But you're pale. Come, do as I say. Rest a little.
Oh, very well.
There you are. Shall I help you along?
I'm not so weak as all that. Come, Vera.
I have come, Natalya Petrovna, to
Ah, Michelle, come here. What made you tell her at once like this? Didn't I beg you not to? Why be in such a hurry? I found her here in such a state.
I don't understand.
You've told Natasha that you are going?
So you suppose that is what has upset her?
Shh. He's looking at us. Oh, you're not going to lie down, Natasha.
Yes, I'm going.
Goodbye, Natalya Petrovna.
Natasha, do you know this is one of the best of men?
Yes, I know he's a splendid man. You're all splendid men. All of you, all. And yet.
Nice position, mine. Glorious, it certainly is. Really, it's positively refreshing. And what a farewell after 4 years of love. Excellent. Serve the talker right. And thank God it's all for the best. It was high time to end those sickly, morbid relations. Well, Arkady, goodbye.
Goodbye, my dear boy. It's not quite easy to bear. I didn't expect it. It's like a storm on a clear day. Well, grind the corn and there'll be flour. But anyway, thank you. Thank you. You are a true friend.
This is too much. Goodbye.
What is it? They tell me Natalya Petrovna is ill.
No, who told you so?
The girl, her maid.
No, it's nothing, doctor. I think better not disturb Natasha just now.
Ah, well, that's all right. I hear you're going to town.
Yes, on business.
On business.
At that instant, I know some.
What is it? What's the matter? What's wrong with Natasha?
What's the matter with Mama? What is it?
Oh, nothing's the matter with her. I saw her a minute ago. What's the matter with all of you?
Really, Arkasha? We were told Natasha's been taken ill.
Oh, well, you shouldn't have believed it.
But why are you so cross, Arkasha? Our sympathy is only natural.
Of course, of course.
It's time for me to start.
You are going away?
Yes, I am going.
Ah, well, now I understand.
Papa,
Yes, what do you want?
why is Aleksei Nikolayevich gone out?
He's gone.
I don't know. He kissed me, put on his cap, and went out. And it's time for my Russian lesson.
I expect he'll be back soon. We can send to look for him, though.
Don't send after him, Arkady. He won't come back.
Now, what's the meaning of that?
He's going away too.
Going away? Where?
For Moscow.
Moscow? Why? Is everyone going mad today or what?
Well, the fact is, Verochka's fallen in love with him. So being an honorable man, he decided to go. You understand now why.
Understand? I understand nothing. My head's going around. What is one to make of it? All fluttering off in different directions like a lot of partridges, and all because they're honorable men. And all at once on the same day.
But what's this? Mr. Belyaev, you said...
Never mind, Mama. Never mind. Herr Schaaf, kindly give Kolya his lesson now instead of Mr. Belyaev. Take him away.
Yes, sir.
Papa!
Go along, go along. I'll come part of the way with you, Rakitin. I'll have my horse saddled and wait for you at the dam. And you, Mama, meanwhile, for God's sake, don't disturb Natasha. Nor you either, Doctor. Matvei! Matvei!
Mikhail Alexandrovich, may I have the honor of driving you along the high road with my 3 new horses?
Why? Have you got the horses already?
I had a little talk with Vera Aleksandrovna, so may I?
By all means. Anna Semyonovna, I have the honor to...
Goodbye, Mikhail Alexandrovich. I wish you a successful journey.
I thank you. Lizaveta Bogdanovna.
Goodbye, gracious lady.
You are going too, Doctor?
Yes, my patience, you know, madam. Besides, you see my presence here is not needed. Goodbye for the present.
And what do you think of all this, my dear, pray?
I really don't know what to say, Anna Semyonovna.
Did you hear? Belyaev too has gone?
Anna Semyonovna, perhaps I too may not be staying here much longer. I too am going away.
Curtain.
Anna Semyonovna stares at her with unutterable amazement. Lizaveta Bogdanovna stares before her without raising her eyes.
Curtain. End of play.
See, that's...
They all have gone away 2 hours earlier.
You fall
That's
asleep?
Russian comedy.
Well, there was no strange interlude.
It's a 4 hour, it's all, yeah.
Oh my goodness, that was a marathon.
That was a comedy.
Did you fall asleep, Mary Elena? Because,
Stephen, it was horrible. It was horrible, Stephen. I hated every minute of it.